Is midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. KSL's top story. A Utah doctor who was on board the Delta flight from Salt Lake to Amsterdam is telling his story after 25 people were injured because of turbulence, forcing the pilots to make an emergency landing. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Dr. Joseph Carbone is an eye doctor, and he and his wife were headed to Amsterdam and then to Kenya to give away eyeglasses to people in need. But he spoke to KSL TV's Deja Brown this morning, saying about an hour and a half into the flight, the plane dropped.
The turbulence hit in three waves, if you will, and each one progressively got worse.
He says a flight attendant near him flew up in the air. People grabbed her so she wouldn't smack into the ceiling.
And I just held my wife's hand and we tried to remain calm.
He says several people in the seats near the middle and back of the plane did get hurt, some pretty seriously. But he says this experience is not going to stop him from flying. In fact, he's catching another flight to Amsterdam tonight. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
We will hear from another passenger about their experience coming up at 12:15 and have more coverage of this incident. It's posted at kslnewsradio.com. The Utah inmate charged with the murder of a Santaquin officer last year is now accused of attacking jail deputies. Michael Jane is awaiting trial in the Utah County Jail for the death of Sergeant Bill Hoosier. Police documents say Jane was pulled in for questioning over contraband found in his jail cell. During this interview, he allegedly attacked deputies, throwing punches and clawing at one man's eyes. Two of the deputies had to be treated at a nearby hospital. West Valley City is renaming its community preservation building after an officer who died while in the line of duty. Jill Robinson was a code enforcement officer for the city for a decade before she was killed in 2018 while on duty. Robinson's daughter, Jessica Kunor, thanked the city for memorializing her mom.
I wish she could be here with us now, especially with her grandkids. But I know that she is our guardian angel.
West Valley City Mayor Karen Lang says renaming the building isn't just a sign of change. It's a way to show how much they value people like Robinson that keep the city running. A 17-year-old girl has died after police say she rear-ended a pickup truck while driving in West Valley City last night. West Valley City spokesperson Roxanne Vainuku says the girl was driving a small passenger car when she rear-ended the truck at a high rate of speed. They believe that she was killed on impact.
This is just heartbreaking. This is a 17-year-old girl whose life was cut extremely short, and it's something that no family would want to suffer through, and our heart goes out to them for sure.
Vainuku says the girl was wearing a seatbelt. She says it's possible the sun was in her eyes and it could have played a role, but they are still investigating. A woman in her 70s is in the hospital after being hit by a car while crossing the road. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
The woman was hit while in the crosswalk around 8 p.m. Police say she was thrown onto the hood of the car before falling to the ground, hitting her head, and being knocked unconscious. Police say the driver had been making a right-hand turn onto Harrison Boulevard from 24th Street and turning slowly. Police say they don't believe alcohol was involved.
The woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition. KSL's top national stories. Tomorrow is the day that tariffs will be implemented on foreign goods from dozens of countries. The White House says it struck a temporary deal with Mexico today to impose a 25% tariff on its imports that don't fall under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. More now from ABC's Karen Travers.
They were not part of the April 2nd so-called Liberation Day reciprocal tariffs. So that April 9th pause, that 90 days, and then that extension to August 1st didn't really apply to Mexico or to Canada because those tariffs had gone into effect before that. So they've been doing different negotiations, a different timeline track.
Percentage rates on tomorrow's tariffs are varied, but the president has signaled that he would be open to negotiations after the deadline. Meantime, the president's tariffs went before a federal appeals court in D.C. today. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
Much of the argument focused on how far the president can go to regulate trade with other nations by invoking emergency powers. A lawyer for the administration said a 1977 statute gives President Trump broad authority. But many of the 11 appeals court judges seemed highly skeptical of that, with several noting the word tariff doesn't even appear in the law Trump has invoked. Whichever side loses at this stage is expected to appeal, a move that would give the Supreme Court the final word.
The challenge is brought by small businesses and Democratic-led states who say the president doesn't have the legal authority to impose the taxes on his own. Utah's School Choice Scholarship Program is back in motion, but only for families who applied by the spring deadline. The new program manager, Odyssey, is asking those parents to finish their paperwork by August 15th. Robin Bagley with Utah Education Fits All says she's feeling optimistic about the handoff.
They've got wonderful processes and systems already developed, a lot of technology, and they've been working furiously, feverishly since May 15th to try to get things ready and launched.
She thinks scholarship awards could climb to around 18,000 this year. We will talk to her more about this coming up at 12:45. First Look Traffic. Welcome back, Ricky.
Thank you, Maria. We do have fire crews at the ramp, northbound I-15, just after 1300 South, battling a roadside fire. It's over on the other side of the barrier, but it's causing a little bit of backup on northbound I-15, approaching 1300 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with pain in your feet, ankles, knees, hips, or lower back? At the Good Feet store, we recommend having high-quality support in all of your shoes. Our personalized arch support system has helped countless people find relief, like Karen. Here is her Good Feet story.
After I decided my pain was too much, and my doctor actually suggested that I do visit the Good Feet store. Pretty amazing when they put the arch supports in your shoe and you walk around and you realize there's not pain, and you think, how can this arch support in my shoe make my back pain go away? But it works. And how can it make my knee pain go away? It was incredible.
Come to the Good Feet store today and see what we can do for you. Good Feet arch supports are in stock and available in over 300 different styles and sizes.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Stop in today at the Good Feet store.
Thank you for joining us for midday. Recapping our top story. 25 passengers were taken to the hospital in Minnesota after severe turbulence on a flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam. KSL News Time, 12:08. Utah County Sheriff's Office is investigating after some racist graffiti showed up in an Eagle Mountain neighborhood. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The graffiti on a group mailbox and the sidewalk next to it includes racial slurs and a swastika. Sergeant Ray Ormond with the Utah County Sheriff's Office says they're out looking for leads.
Our deputies have been working through canvassing the area, trying to see if there are any witnesses, trying to see if anybody happened to record anything on a doorbell camera or any type of cameras that were in the areas.
Ormond says most of the time it's witnesses that help police catch vandals, so they're asking anyone who saw something to say something. If caught, those responsible could face misdemeanor charges, a fee or fine, and even mandated community service. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
The Draper Recreation Center says it's back open after vandals hit the pool area. The center says someone broke their lifeguard chairs and snapped some of the lane lines in that water. Now, they were able to repair the items, but they are still looking for answers as to who did this. A Heber City Council member candidate is facing some heat after news that she's been charged with child abuse. Now, the Park Record says it was in June of this year when Jamie Hewlett was charged with the misdemeanor. Police report says she's accused of attacking her stepchild multiple times, even going as far as breaking her arm. Hewlett is denying any wrongdoing. We often hear about a shortage of licensed nurses, but some nurses here in Utah tell KSL News Radio getting that first job out of nursing school can be very frustrating.
Kaylin Lippard says she started applying for jobs during her last semester of nursing school.
You know, I put my best foot forward and applied for, goodness, I want to say 20 plus jobs in that type of field, and all of them were almost an immediate no, which was crazy, because you hear that all these hospitals really do need a lot of help.
The chair of the Associate Degree of Nursing at Weber State University says a lot of nurses quit during the COVID pandemic, so hospitals and clinics were hiring nurses for all positions, including the high acuity roles, right out of school. But now they're returning to more normal hiring practices. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Trouble spots, Ricky?
Yeah, we do have fire crews on the ramp from about southbound I-15 at 9th South. I'll put it that way. They do have that ramp blocked to traffic. Oddly, it's causing a little bit of curiosity slowing on the northbound side of I-15, starting prior to 2100 South to about 1300 South. But the main flow of I-15, other than some slowing, really not affected by this ramp closure. But crews are there, and if you are trying to access the freeway, you will need to find an alternate route. Also, heavy and slow through the construction zone, southbound I-15 in Davis County from Kaysville into Farmington. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Low pressure still camping out over the Great Basin. That'll keep wind in the forecast today. 97 the high, mostly sunny, but a wind direction switch could move the smoke out by later in the afternoon and evening. Breezy again tomorrow, 95, mostly sunny. We've got 93 on Saturday. Winds relax a bit. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine, 91 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on midday with Maria Chaleos. You're now hearing from some of the passengers aboard that turbulent flight that injured at least 25 people. One of them from Utah gave us their exclusive account of what happened. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Summer is upon us, and you know what your lawn wants? It wants Revive Organic Soil Treatment upon it. A Revive treatment with fertilization, aeration, and good watering is the key to building stronger roots for a healthy, lush green lawn all summer. Revive fertilizes and moves water and nutrients deeper into the soil. You'll see the difference. Revive is surefire defense against summer drought and skyrocketing water costs. Make the most of your watering with Revive Organic Soil Treatment. Apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment today. It works.
Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy Chicken Biscuit. For just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all three if you want. They're just $1. So you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
Hello, Utah. I'm Josh with IWC Roofing. For over 25 years, my family has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We value your time, and we're committed to replacing most roofs in just one day with a peace of mind 50-year shingle warranty. Call us today at 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. Ask us for the $1,500 off any full roof replacement. Financing available, 801-232-5690. Utah homeowners, look no further than IWC Roofing for a roof that stands the test of time. With 25 years of excellence, IWC is your trusted family-owned roofing expert. At IWC, we offer one-day roof replacements with top-tier quality materials, all with a 50-year shingle warranty. To keep a leaky roof from dampening your day, we're offering $1,500 off a full roof replacement. Get a free estimate. Call 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. 801-232-5690.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
The Utah County Sheriff's Office is investigating after some graffiti showed up in an Eagle Mountain neighborhood covering the sidewalk and mailbox in racial slurs and a swastika. I'm KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla.
second, the man accused of killing Santa Quin Sergeant Bill Hoosier last year is now facing new charges after reportedly attacking sheriff's deputies in jail. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
We do have a ramp closure due to a roadside fire. The ramp southbound I-15 at 9th South is closed to traffic. And we are seeing some heavy and slower traffic on the northbound I-15 main flow going from 2100 south to 1300 south. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, decreasing smoke today with somewhat cooler temperatures. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny, 91 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Calls for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza are increasing as the humanitarian crisis and starvation gets worse with each day. At least 85 people were killed trying to get aid in the last day, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff today for talks. At today's briefing, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Witkoff will get a first-hand look at distribution sites tomorrow.
Tomorrow, Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee will be traveling into Gaza to inspect the current distribution sites and secure a plan to deliver more food and meet with local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation on the ground.
Canada now says it will join Britain and France to support a Palestinian state and urged Israel to finalize a ceasefire deal with Hamas. President Trump, in a social media post, says Canada's support for a two-state solution will make it harder for the U.S. to finalize a trade deal with Canada. The White House announcing the U.S. and Mexico have extended its current deal for 90 days on trade. It comes as reciprocal tariffs for most countries kick in tomorrow. A federal court today hearing arguments over tariffs brought by small business owners that claim President Trump overstepped his authority by issuing tariffs. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
This is this lawsuit that was brought to the federal appeals court by a group of states and small businesses, and they're trying to get the president's tariffs invalidated, saying that you can't use this emergency law to implement tariffs. It's a decades-old emergency order. And today there was skepticism expressed in that courtroom. The judge is saying that this has never been used to justify tariffs, that the law actually doesn't even mention the word tariffs, and they were really putting the government lawyers on the spot to explain how they can use this.
Severe storms and possible flooding in the Northeast today, leading to nearly 1,000 flight cancellations at major airports in New York City and New Jersey. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. We are now hearing more from the passengers of a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam that had to be diverted for an emergency landing after at least 25 people were injured during severe turbulence. Heather Lynn Lorkey spoke with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera and told him it started about an hour into the flight without warning during their dinner service.
It's weightless. Everything that was not seatbelted in or basically put in a bag, maybe in an overhead bin, hit the ceiling, came back down, and it was multiple times. The carts hit the ceilings. The flight attendants were hitting the ceilings. People that were coming back from bathrooms were hitting the ceilings. Children that were on people's laps were hitting the ceiling. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before.
She said luckily she was buckled in at the time.
The screams were like I can't stop hearing those of people just screaming. And it was just every time we were dropping, we were weightless in our seats multiple times and all. It's not funny, but it's a weird thing to describe. But everything that was on my nightstand next to me was up in the air, almost floating a couple of times, and then everything shot forward and went to the front of the plane. I'm missing all kinds of items still.
She says it only lasted for a few minutes. She said the Delta pilots and the staff were incredibly kind and compassionate for the entire time. Despite the chaos, the way they handled it, according to her, was very smooth. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. And here's Ricky Meese.
We've had a small roadside fire in the downtown area. It has closed the ramp at southbound I-15 and 9th South with fire crews still on the scene. At one point, it did cause a little bit of curiosity slowing on the northbound side of I-15 for those getting ready to exit to get to 9th South, but that has cleared out. And now all of your Salt Lake County freeways, the main flows, are seeing a very good drive. We still have heavy and slow traffic southbound I-15 due to the work zone in Davis County as you go from the Kaysville Ponds down to Lagoon in Farmington. And then 4th West for downtown drivers. Be aware there is road work causing lanes blocked and lane shifts. You got to watch this area if you're traveling 4th West between 3rd and 5th North, and it could be either direction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starting out with more high fire danger and breezy winds. 97 today with clearing smoke and mostly sunny skies. Breezy and 95, mostly sunny skies on Friday. Saturday, less wind, 93. We keep it somewhat calm on Sunday, 93 sunshine. Mostly sunny but breezy. High fire danger is back on Monday, 95. Keeping it breezy on your Tuesday, 94 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It's sunny, breezy, and 91 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. The Dow has been in rough shape, negative territory since yesterday after the Fed's decision not to lower interest rates. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
You've built the dream, the home, the lifestyle, the legacy. Now it's time your windows and doors reflect that same $1 million standard. Whether you're designing a stunning custom home or upgrading the one you've loved for years, Peach Doors and Windows is here to bring that vision to life with precision, style, and craftsmanship.
The Peach specialty? High-end custom windows and doors that don't just fit your space, they elevate it. From sleek modern lines to timeless elegant finishes, they offer the kinds of craftsmanship that truly complements a $1 million space. And with Peach, the process is easy. No pressure, no gimmicks, just knowledgeable experts helping you find solutions to turn your someday project into right now.
Visit their spacious showroom, get inspired, and create something beautiful together. Peach Doors and Windows for the $1 million home you live in and the $1 million feeling you deserve. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 today.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
KSL News Time 1224. Actress Blake Lively's lawsuit against co-star Justin Baldoni will be moving forward today. More from ABC's Rhiannon Alley.
It's a big day today in that ongoing saga of Lively versus Baldoni as the actress is set to be deposed, testifying under oath. She will be grilled by attorneys for Baldoni, her It Ends With Us co-star and the director of the film, who she has accused of sexual harassment and retaliation. Baldoni has denied those allegations.
Baldoni filed countersuits against Lively and the New York Times for defamation, but those were dismissed by a judge last month. Watching Utah's money, Moderna says it's planning on cutting nearly 10% of their global workforce by the end of the year as their COVID shot sales begin to dwindle in an uncertain market. In a memo from their CEO, they say they took every effort to avoid layoffs, but it's necessary. It's a necessary step to restructure their business heading into 2027. Skechers are launching a new shoe to keep kids safe. It has a little compartment in the sole that holds a tracking device like an Apple AirTag. Now, they won't come with the AirTag, but it is able to fit one perfectly. Cinemark wants more people to see movies. The chain is adding 20 ScreenX theaters across the world. ScreenX is a special format that uses a display on the right and left walls of the auditorium to make a 270-degree panoramic field of view. Looking at your money at this moment, the Dow down by 195 points. That's nearly 0.5%, sitting at 44,276. S&P 500 down by 8 points. The Nasdaq, though, it's up by about 21 points. The cost to buy a new car just keeps getting more expensive, and now many people are looking to refinance their car payments. The average car payment today is around $750 a month, according to Edmunds.com. Certified financial planner Shane Stewart says refinancing can help if interest rates have dropped since you bought the car or if your credit score has gone up significantly.
As that credit score improves, you might be able to get a better rate, and why not? That is a great reason to refinance.
The new rate may be much lower and can even shorten the length of your current loan.
Behind the curtain of Utah and Washington politics.
It seems like the federal government is now saying to the states, you have much more control of your destiny.
And expanded inside sources.
And so our legislature is trying to figure out what their boundaries are.
Well, even like FEMA, right?
Yes.
Wildfire disasters.
The all-new Inside Sources.
If we have to pay for it all of ourselves, can we afford that as a state?
Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson, now on 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Join KSL and the movie show crew this Friday, 10 to 1 at the Hale Center Theater, 9900 Monroe Street in Sandy, hct.org.
Jeff Caplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Caplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Let's see what's happening on the roads with Ricky Meese.
Fire crews still on the scene working a roadside fire by the freeway. This has the ramp closed from 9th South to southbound I-15. The main flow of all of your Salt Lake County freeways in good shape. We do have slowdowns due to construction southbound I-15, Kaysville into Farmington. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
calling for mostly sunny skies today, a high of 97, and decreasing smoke. Breezy winds hold on today and tomorrow. Red flag warning in place through central and southern Utah. I got a 95 tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny but breezy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And taking a look at some of the temperatures around the area, 91 degrees here in downtown Salt Lake City, St. George, not much warmer, 95 in St. George. In Evanston at this hour, 75 degrees, and the cool spot, Park City at 74.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Chaleos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story this hour. Utah leaders say that you should eventually start seeing better prices at the store and fewer trucks on the road now that a new railway facility is opened on Salt Lake City's west side.
I am equally excited for this announcement as I was the Olympics.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox and other state leaders are celebrating the new intermodal hub, which is expected to help our local supply chain over time. The governor told me this facility will not only get some trucks off of our roads and limit the wear and tear to the pavement, it'll also help local businesses get the goods they need and in turn help with rising prices.
That means shrinking supply chain costs, and that means lowering inflation for the people of Utah.
The governor says this facility will not only help the Salt Lake City area, but rural Utah as well, and he says it'll create tens of thousands of local jobs over time. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
UDOT is giving anyone who has been impacted by their recent traffic projects a chance to let them know if it's been good or bad.
There's a survey open that deals with all the completed traffic projects between I-15 and I-80 in Salt Lake. UDOT Region 2 Deputy Director Lisa Zundel says they want to know if you think traffic, walking and biking areas, and parking have gotten better or worse in the last 5 years.
If you're somebody that uses the city for shopping or dining or going to sporting events, have these projects changed how you go into the city, or if you changed your decision to go into the city at all?
The survey is part of requirements from the Utah legislature passed this year asking UDOT to conduct studies on their transportation plans. The survey is open until August 6th. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Congressman Blake Moore says Medicaid will be discussed a lot in Congress over the next year and a half. Moore explained on Inside Sources how the new Medicaid work requirements work.
It's very simple. There's a work requirement now for individuals that are able-bodied, in the working age, have no dependents or other ailments or certain things or exemptions that would make it so they couldn't work. And they're only required to work 18 or so hours a week, whether it's volunteer, they can use volunteer times or job training. All that type of stuff qualifies. We made it very encompassing.
Now Moore says he's confident they will carve cuts out for caregivers, but he's not sure yet how those carve-outs will work. A candidate for Sandy Mayor has been disqualified for the August primary after the city said he failed to file a campaign financial statement as required by Sandy Code. A notice sent to voters said votes cast for McCall Williams will not be counted even if his name is on the ballot. Votes for the other candidates for mayor will be counted. Utah is being asked to turn over voter information to the Department of Justice.
The federal government is investigating election fraud, and Utah is just one of several states being asked to hand over the information. The Lieutenant Governor's office confirms they received the letter earlier this month. In a statement, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson didn't say the state would for sure give up the records. Instead, she said her office is working through the request with legal help and will provide what information federal and state law says they can provide. Utah voter information is partially public and partially private. You can find out the names of registered voters and typically their party affiliation, but other personally identifiable information is protected by state law. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. More than 1,300 National Guard troops who were federalized during immigration protests in Los Angeles are heading home.
The Pentagon announcing 1,350 more federalized California National Guard troops are being demobilized. Previously, 2,000 Guardsmen and 700 active duty Marines were sent home. The initial deployment involved around 5,000 troops. It comes as the unrest mostly ended over a month ago. The Pentagon says around 250 National Guardsmen will remain in L.A. to protect federal personnel and property. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Russia has attacked Ukraine's capital city again. A military official says more than 24 locations were hit around Kyiv and at least 6 people died. ABC News contributor and former Defense Department official Mick Mulroy lays out what needs to happen first before any ceasefire conversations restart.
We also need to see much more offensive and defensive weapon systems going into Ukraine right now. They are holding, but they are also losing terrain very slowly. In the last 24 hours, over 1,000 Russian soldiers died to gain the territory that they're gaining. But if this continues and there's no ceasefire, it'll just keep happening.
Mulroy says the drones and missiles Russia used have the capability to do the most damage. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. Child safety advocates are again pushing federal regulators to finalize rules aimed at preventing children from dying in hot cars. ABC's Jim Ryan is in Texas, where a 4-year-old girl is the latest victim.
Police in Poteet, Texas say that child got into her parents' car in the driveway and wasn't discovered until it was too late. The temperature was in the 90s.
The younger the child is, the less tolerance they have to changes in heat.
Paramedic Hunter Gill. Congress in 2021 mandated that new cars come equipped with systems meant to detect children in back seats, but federal regulators have yet to finalize the rule.
This is the nation's 18th hot car death of the year. This month is now the deadliest on record for motorcyclists. The Assistant Superintendent of the Utah Highway Patrol, Major Jeff Nyber, says speed is one of the biggest factors of fatal crashes.
First and foremost, we had 14 motorcycle fatalities in the month of July. That is the most on record in any given month, and that is really, really serious.
Nyber says that is a 33% more motorcycle deaths than last year. He added that riding fast is not worth your life. First Look Traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a new accident. This is in Morgan. It has closed the road northbound SR 66. That's State Street to the I-84 junction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part one in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result, Connecticut delivers perfectly soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com and tell them Doug sent you.
Thank you for joining us for Midday with Maria Chaleos. Recapping our top story, Governor Spencer Cox has a new rail hub opening on Salt Lake's west side. It's going to improve prices at local stores and the traffic on Utah's roadways. KSL News Time, 12:37. The Monroe Canyon fire still burning, and it's only getting worse. It exploded in size overnight, jumping to more than 48,000 acres. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The unpredictable nature of the fire and windy days are making it harder to fight.
We've got over 1,000 people on this fire, boots on the ground, and we're throwing everything at it. That aircraft is flying nonstop, and it is just not stopping this thing.
In a community meeting last night, the incident commander said sometimes the flames are jumping over distances of half a mile. The Monroe Canyon and Burrville areas are now being evacuated out of an abundance of caution as crews focus on protecting homes and buildings. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Right now, that fire is only 11% contained. And it's not going to get any easier with another day of high fire danger. National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for the 7th day in a row for much of southern Utah. They say high winds and low humidity cause active wildfires to experience extreme fire behavior. About 25 firefighters are currently working to stop a 10-acre fire burning in the southwest corner of Yellowstone National Park. The ash fire is believed to have been started by lightning, and several trails and backcountry camping areas are closed due to the fire. To see all the latest on our active wildfires, you can head to kslnewsradio.com. Just click on the tab at the top left corner, and it says Utah Fire Watch. Utah is ranked as one of the happiest states in the country, thanks in part to Utah's high level of community engagement. KSL News Radio's Virl Johansson has more.
A law group called Your Law Firm ranked Utah as the 4th happiest state in the country. Lead attorney Kira Abernathy told the Cache Valley Daily factors like community engagement can be just as important for families deciding where to live as financial considerations. The firm built each state's happiness score by comparing things like life expectancy, volunteerism rates, and the cost of living index. Utah has more than 46% of residents volunteering in their communities, putting the state at the top of the national ranking in this category. Only Nebraska, Minnesota, and Vermont had higher happiness scores than Utah. Virl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
In Morgan County, we do have an accident that has closed the road northbound State Street. This is SR 66 going to I-84. If you're in the area, you'll need to avoid that spot. Find an alternate. They'll probably detour you around on some of the side streets, but no cameras. I can't really see what's going on up there. Just be aware the road is closed due to a crash. We still have slowdowns for Davis County drivers. You guessed it. It's in the work zone southbound I-15 after the Kaysville Ponds on the way to Lagoon. Salt Lake County freeways, the main flow looked good. And where we had a ramp closure, 9th South to southbound I-15, fire crews have just left the scene. They're going to be opening up that ramp any moment now. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's mostly sunny skies today with a high of 97. Smoke will begin to clear out through the afternoon and evening. Breezy. Breezy again tomorrow. Red flag warning through central Utah and the southern half. Mostly sunny, 95 for your Friday. Saturday, 93, mostly sunny. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And a lot of sunshine in downtown Salt Lake City, 91 degrees. Coming up on midday, now's the time for those who applied for Utah's school voucher program to reapply. We'll talk to Utah Education Fits All about the complicated program change and what parents need to know. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
You probably saved my life.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight and keep it off.
I mean, I was 30 pounds overweight, and I went in, and the doctor said, you need to change your diet.
Get help and get started with Soda Weight Loss.
Got off my blood pressure medicine and my cholesterol medicine, and that is amazing to me.
I went from a 16, 18 down to a size 4 now. So that is amazing. It makes you feel so good.
Splash into summer savings right now with Soda's lowest prices of the year.
No injections, no pills, no hunger.
I would recommend Soda because it's sustainable. This is lifetime change.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal.
We're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and results. And with our incredible summer savings, what are you waiting for?
Get help, get results at SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
KSL News Time, 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah leaders are saying you should eventually start seeing less trucks on the roads and better prices at the store with the opening of a new railway facility on Salt Lake City's west side. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
2nd July is now the deadliest month ever for motorcycle deaths. 14 people have died, and authorities say more than half of them were trained. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
A new crash for Davis County drivers westbound Main Street at Hillfield Road. 2 right lanes are blocked to traffic. Valley Freeway traffic rolling along in Salt Lake County, but slow southbound I-15, Kaysville to Farmington. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
97 today, mostly sunny skies, breezy and decreasing smoke. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny and 91 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. With reports of starvation along with chaos and deaths at aid distribution sites in Gaza, the White House says Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is expected to get a first-hand look with Ambassador Mike Huckabee tomorrow when they inspect the aid sites. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt at today's briefing says it's part of trying to finalize a new plan for food and aid.
The Special Envoy and the Ambassador will brief the president immediately after their visit to approve a final plan for food and aid distribution into the region. And we will provide more details for all of you once that plan is approved and agreed on by the President of the United States.
President Trump's tariffs for most foreign imports kicks in tomorrow with trade talks for some countries still ongoing. A key inflation gauge shows consumer prices went up last month, Americans paying 0.3% more for most items in June than in May. And the year-over-year jump was 2.6%, higher than expected. In Florida, the SpaceX launch today for NASA astronauts has been scrubbed due to weather. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. Parents who applied for the Utah Fits All Scholarship Program earlier this year now have to reapply. It's because of a complicated transition from one program manager to the other. Joining me now live to explain is Robin Bagley, Executive Director of Utah Education Fits All. Robin, thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
So why are families having to reapply? Can you explain that a little more for us?
I can, and I can share basically what Odyssey shared with parents, and that is that the data transfer did not give them the information in the formats that they needed to be able to have, sort of like an API transfer. That didn't exist. So it was just very complicated the way that it was delivered. Therefore, they set up their own application portal, and they are having the parents who applied by the May 1st deadline earlier this year submit all that information now into their portal.
So who is going to be eligible for the scholarship this year?
So in terms of applicants, it's those who applied by the May 1st deadline. But in terms of who is eligible, any Utah student, K through 12, is eligible, but we still have income preference levels. So renewals will be first. All the renewals will be renewed once again if they desire to continue with the scholarship. And then the second priority level is based on income. That's 300% of poverty or less. The third are siblings of students who already have the scholarship. And then it's anyone after that. And so the way that they're selected is by lottery. After all applications are received, they go through a lottery process with each different preference level.
How many people do you expect are going to be receiving this aid?
We think it's going to be upwards of 16,000. And this is because of 2 reasons. More money was allocated. There is $100 million funding the program this coming school year. And also there was a change to scholarship amounts. They are now $8,000 if you select private school, $6,000 and $4,000 if you're a home-based learner, and that's based on the age of your child. And so that is going to lead to more scholarships being awarded as well. So we're estimating somewhere upwards of 16,000. Last year it was 10,000.
Can you give us some sort of timeline? When will families know if they will be getting that money?
Yes, they're going to keep this portal where they're recollecting all the information open until the 15th of August. They are hoping to have awards done and parents notified by August 21st. That is when their marketplace opens, and that is when parents can start submitting reimbursements for things that they've purchased for the school year. So that's the tentative timeline. Now, they haven't set in stone a date for awards, but it should come between that 15th and 21st date, after which parents do have to accept the scholarship so that their account can be funded.
For those people who may be thinking that they'd like to enroll maybe next year, apply maybe next year, tell us the importance of this program.
So, this program empowers parents to choose the best fit for their child's education, and they can use it for private school or home-based learning, and they can purchase all kinds of qualifying expenses if they choose home-based learning. If they are interested for next year, they're going to want to pay close attention. The portal will open in the spring. We're just very delayed this year because of the transition. But in a normal year, it will follow the format outlined in the law, and the portal opens in March for renewal students. It opens April for new students, and it closes May 1st for everybody. And the awards will happen in May of next year.
All right, Robin.
For the following year.
Excuse me. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
Live on
Bye-bye.
the KSL Newsline, that is Robin Bagley, the Executive Director of Utah Education Fits All. Let's get you up to date on the drive now. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
A crash in Layton is blocking traffic. This happened on the westbound side at the intersection of Hillfield Road and Main Street. Those two westbound right lanes of traffic are blocked. And you will be able to get by, just stay to the left, but it's kind of a tight squeeze, so use a little bit of caution. Not a lot of backup in the area. Where we do have slowing, it's southbound I-15 through the work zone as you go after the Kaysville Ponds on the way to Lagoon in Farmington. All clear on your Salt Lake County freeways. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starting out on the hot side. 97 today, mostly sunny skies, but smoke clearing to the east. It'll be breezy today and again tomorrow. 95 for your Friday, mostly sunny. 93, less wind on Saturday, mostly sunny skies. 93 again and sunshine on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday next week, looks like the wind returns with mid-90s and mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Our temperature has now hit 93 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. And a quick check of the markets at this hour. The Dow making an improvement. It's now down by only about 0.25%, sitting at 44,379. We'll get a complete update of your money news coming up next.
A lot of the big events of the summertime of 25 are in the rearview mirror now. We're approaching August. It is time to get the kids ready to go back to school, squeak in that last vacation, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse would like to help. With their 2 locations, you can drop by for the meal of the year. It waits for you at 275 South on West Temple. All kinds of things to do right now in downtown Salt Lake City. And if you're going up for that big hike or just a shopping experience in the Park City area, there's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse right there at Hotel Park City. There's no need to go out and fire up the grill, go and buy the steaks and then all the side dishes and desserts. Then you have to worry about cooking that steak just right. I mean, after all, we know how expensive steaks are right now. It has to be cooked to perfection. The side dishes, everything else. And then there's the cleanup. Let Ruth's Chris Steakhouse take care of that for you. Wrap up your great summertime with an experience at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
The Social Security Administration just announced they are now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. This news could significantly change when you file for Social Security. Discover how you could get every penny out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. This free, customized analysis could help you get every penny out of Social Security. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time 12:54. Health officials are trying to stop a Legionnaire's disease outbreak in New York City that has turned deadly.
Legionnaire's disease is a type of pneumonia caused by bacteria that grow in warm water, the kind that thrive in plumbing systems, cooling towers, humidifiers, and the condensers of large air conditioners. Because of that, the New York City Health Department is checking the cooling systems of apartments in central Harlem, where more than 20 cases of Legionnaires and at least one death have been reported. Buildings that tested positive for the bacteria are being notified. Legionnaires does not spread from person to person, but several people in the same building can and have become infected. Sherry Preston, ABC News, New York.
Watching Utah's money, Eli Lilly's drug Mounjaro is going above and beyond. In a late-stage 5-year trial, results are showing that along with its projected benefits of helping type 2 diabetics keep their sugar in check, it has helped reduce the risk of cardiovascular death, heart attack, or stroke by 8% compared to other diabetes medications like Trulicity. It's going to cost more to visit Europe. The fee for Americans and other travelers without visas is expected to triple from $8 to $24. It's set to go into place in late 2026. The MLB is trying to tap into other sports to boost viewership. The Baseball League will play at a professional race car track and will incorporate NASCAR-themed elements throughout the event. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 101 points, about 0.25%, sitting at 44,360. S&P 500, it's up by 4. NASDAQ up by 66 points.
Over 3/4 of Americans will experience foot pain, and most will just live with that pain every day. But Foot Solutions in Orem is here to change that. Here's Amanda from Provo.
I am an active woman, ex-Division I basketball player at BYU. By trade, I'm a PE teacher. Over the last 2 years is when my feet really started hurting.
And that's when Amanda's life changed with a visit to Foot Solutions in Orem.
My experience at Foot Solutions was so unique to any other experience I've had. Over an hour they spent with me, really going over my specific pain points.
After discovering so many solutions and custom in-house made orthotics, what does Amanda want you to know?
Invest in your health. Don't be cheap to your feet. Living a pain-free, active life again has been worth every cent.
Just search for Foot Solutions in Orem and find out more at footsolutions.com.
I'm Amanda from Provo. I'm 47 years old, and Foot Solutions has given me back a pain-free, active lifestyle.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69, because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
In Utah County, we have a stalled vehicle partially blocking a left lane. It's on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Main Street, Spanish Fork, and then for Davis County drivers, we still have a crash blocking a portion of the intersection. It occurred on the westbound side of Main Street at Hillfield Road. UTA is road therapy. Give your car a break and get more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
High today of 97 degrees. Then the temperature starting to drop with highs in the mid-90s for the weekend. And then it looks like Monday, we're just going to stay in the mid-90s for the next 7 days. 91 downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Fright in the skies as a Delta flight from Salt Lake City hits rough air, sending 25 people to the hospital.
We had no warning. There was not bumps before this. It was not a turbulent takeoff. You have your normal bumps that you have as you're getting up to altitude, and that was it. There was zero warning.
Passengers flying into the ceiling.
How nobody was killed, I don't know, because hitting a ceiling, necks could snap, things like that. It was crazy.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, July 31st. It's midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Coming up, several passengers describe the moment everything went wrong and the gratitude they have for the flight crew who kept them safe. Also this hour.
And there's upheaval to a program that causes tremendous concern with parents.
Changes to the Utah Fits All scholarship process just before school starts. But first, our top stories. Breaking news on KSL News Radio. Delta Airlines says all the passengers who were taken to the hospital after a turbulent flight last night have now been treated and released. There were 275 passengers and 13 crew members aboard, flying from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam when they hit that extreme turbulence over Wyoming. 25 people, including 7 crew members, were taken to the hospital after their emergency landing in Minnesota. Delta says they will now operate a special flight from Minneapolis to Amsterdam tonight so customers can resume their journey. Now, the airline says they are cooperating with the National Transportation Safety Board on this investigation. UDOT is looking for your input into their recent projects around East Salt Lake. Region 2 Deputy Director Lisa Zundel says that the questions on their survey only deal with projects that have been completed since they want to know how people feel about the end results.
We are asking questions about how these projects change people's quality of life. Did it reduce your commute? Did it increase your commute? Did it make it so a roadway was more walkable?
If you want to have your voice heard, the survey is open until August 6th. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The White House says it struck a temporary deal with Mexico today to impose a 25% tariff on imports into the U.S. More from ABC's Karen Travers at the White House.
This phone call today with the president of Mexico, which the president says was constructive, means that it would stay status quo for the next several months while negotiations continue. But it's still a high tariff, 25% on those goods not covered by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement, and still that 50% tariff on steel and aluminum imports. But the conversations will continue. The president still pushing Mexico to do more on the border.
Tomorrow is the deadline for dozens of countries to make a deal with the U.S. to avoid President Trump's threat of tariffs. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says countries have been calling the president.
We've sent out 17 letters to countries around the world. And the rest of those countries that either do not have a deal or have a letter, they will be hearing from this administration by the midnight deadline tonight.
The president has signaled that he would be open to negotiations after the deadline. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is now down by 115 points, more than 0.25%, sitting at 44,348. S&P up by 4 points, and the Nasdaq, it's up by 64 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We do have a left lane partially blocked with a stalled vehicle. It's on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Spanish Fork Main Street, and a tow truck on the scene loading up this accident in Layton. This is in the intersection. We still have lanes blocked in multiple directions. The crash occurred westbound Main Street at Hillfield Road. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Expect much of the same for the next 7 days. Forecast for the Wasatch Front has highs staying in the mid-90s and lows close to 70 degrees. Right now, 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
All new Berninas are discounted at Dave's Bernina in St. George and Provo.
Experience why Dave's Bernina is one of the top Bernina dealers in America. Save hundreds to thousands of dollars on select Bernina sewing, quilting, and embroidery machines, and get special free bundles of accessories.
These free gift packages include items such as embroidery kits,
Presser feed set,
machine and travel cases,
embroidery software coupons,
books, ruler kits, and lots of accessories.
Plus a limited time offer of 2.99% interest for 60 months on certain machines.
Come in now for bargains on trade-ins, classroom, and demo machines that come with warranties.
Remember, new Bernina machines come with a 5-year warranty and free classes.
At Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo. At Dave's Bernina. Come see the Bernina 990, the most amazing revolutionary sewing machine in the world. Dave'sBernina.com.
25 people had to be treated at Minnesota hospitals after a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam encountered extreme turbulence, causing a diversion to Minneapolis. The flight, carrying 275 passengers and 13 crew members, experienced the rough air flying over Wyoming. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Just this afternoon, Delta says that all 7 crew members and the 18 passengers who had to be taken to the hospital have been released. Now we are hearing from people on board that flight detailing their experiences and injuries. Joseph Carbone and his wife were heading to Kenya through Amsterdam to give eyeglasses to children in need. He tells KSL TV's Deja Brown that the flight started out just fine until suddenly it wasn't.
Everything was fine, just a normal flight. We were toward the front of the plane, and spirits were good. Everything was fine. It was about an hour and a half into the flight, and the turbulence hit in 3 waves, if you will, and each one progressively got worse. We actually came out of our seats a little bit. We didn't, it was just like a bad roller coaster. um, and a lot of people screaming, and it just got worse and worse and worse. I was afraid that maybe the plane was damaged from that.
Heather Lynn Lorkey was also a passenger on the flight. She spoke exclusively to KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, saying when the turbulence hit, anything not buckled in, like the flight attendants, some passengers, including children, and things like phones, they all went flying.
Without warning, about 55 minutes or so into the flight, without warning, we weightless. Everything that was not seatbelted in or basically put in a bag, maybe in an overhead bin, hit the ceiling, came back down, and it was multiple times. The carts hit the ceilings. The flight attendants were hitting the ceilings. People that were coming back from bathrooms were hitting the ceilings. Children that were on people's laps were hitting the ceiling. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I have flown since I was an infant.
Joseph saw the same thing from where he was sitting.
So there was one flight attendant who was attending to us. She went all the way up to the ceiling. The passengers actually grabbed her to keep her from hitting the ceiling. But everything that was on your around you just went up in the air. So I lost my phone for about an hour. We were able to find it. But yeah, it was crazy. It's something we'll always remember.
Heather Lynn says the sounds of everything happening from screams to breaking glass still give her chills.
It's crazy. As I talk to my best friend that I was traveling with, we keep getting just kind of goosebumps talking about it. The screams were like I can't stop hearing those of people just screaming. And it was just every time we were dropping, we were weightless in our seats multiple times and all. It's not funny, but it's a weird thing to describe. But everything that was on my nightstand next to me was up in the air, almost floating a couple of times, and then everything shot forward and went to the front of the plane. I'm missing all kinds of items still. And the screams from people that was the crazy. And you're just hearing glass shatter left and right. And the pilots, who were absolutely incredible, every single person that was on that plane that worked for Delta, nobody was getting on the intercoms to say what was going on, as I'm sure the pilots were doing a trillion different things at once to make sure that we were all safe. But the flight attendants who had broken bones, they were walking around asking every single person if they were okay.
As for injuries, Joseph says most of the people hurt appeared to be in the middle and the back of the plane.
There were a couple that were hurt pretty badly. There were a couple of flight attendants that were hurt. Interestingly enough, the people that were hurt were, from my understanding, from the middle of the plane to the back of the plane. And so I guess maybe where that might be lighter, that they experienced the turbulence a little more.
Another passenger, Adam Nash, tells ABC News that there were several people with head wounds.
A gentleman 2 seats down from me, he had a gashed wound in the top of his head, and he was bleeding rather profusely.
Adam says he had to go to the hospital to get checked out.
I ended up going to the hospital after the plane successfully landed to go and have it checked out to see about cracked ribs.
Joseph says the crew on board the flight was amazing, even with everything crazy happening. He says the experience hasn't changed his thoughts on flying. In fact, he'll be on a new flight tonight to continue his journey.
Kudos to the Delta crew. They made sure that we were comfortable, safe. They had us as number one. So they're amazing.
Leanne Clement Nash sharing similar feelings about that crew.
I will hand it to the flight attendants. They were incredibly calm, very well trained, and very responsive.
Heather Lynn says Delta crew and first responders in Minneapolis were absolute professionals the entire time.
It is very important for us to get out that the people of Delta, the pilots, the employees that were on board with us were the most compassionate, kind, and incredible people that we were surrounded by. Once we landed, there was police, firefighters, paramedics, you name it. They were coming on board and they were checking every single person that was on the plane. It was, for as chaotic and scary as it was very smooth. We were then taken off of the plane and taken into a Sky Club, which was opened just for us. And mind you, as we were getting in, it was late and a lot of employees were off. They were supposed to be going home. They brought out fresh, hot food. They were serving everybody whatever we needed in the Sky Club. Police officers were in the Sky Club, asking again if anybody was injured who needed medical attention. They had Delta representatives left and right working on, we all had hotels to go to.
Wow.
We got meal vouchers. We had Ubers getting us to the hotel. And they were personally walking us from where we picked up our baggage to the area where we needed to catch an Uber. And they did not leave us until we were put into vehicles.
As for the whole experience, how would Joseph describe what happened?
Treacherous, fear. But we tried not to express it. And boy, we were blessed. I really believe there were angels around. You have to remember that even though there were 25 people and our hearts go out to them and their families, we pray for them. That was still, from what we experienced, just a few in number. I talked to the pilot, and we went down about 1,000 feet in a very short period of time. They think they were pelted by large hail. No one was ready for this. They didn't hear any warnings from any towers. This was totally unexpected, and it just happened. And yeah, we march forward. We smile, and all is good. All is well.
How are Joseph and his wife doing now?
Just a little stiff, a little shaky, but we're doing wonderful. We're, by the grace of God, we're just, we're okay. We're being blessed.
But he says he and his wife are not scared of flying after this.
We're going to get on a flight tonight, and we'll go through Amsterdam, and we'll continue on to Nairobi. And with smiles, we're going to continue on. Yeah, that's just what you do. So I'm not worried about flying. Nah.
Delta says it's operating a special flight from Minneapolis to Amsterdam tonight so that customers can carry on with their journey. And truly a miracle that no one died. In just 60 seconds, we'll hear from experts and officials about this terrifying event. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
We are continuing our coverage of a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam that encountered severe turbulence. 25 people were sent to the hospital once the plane was diverted to Minneapolis. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says that there were thunderstorms around southwestern Wyoming at that time. Now, according to flight path data, the flight left Salt Lake City, then headed southeast over the Uintas before turning northeast back towards the original flight plan. Flight aware data shows that the plane hit the rough air and fell about 1,000 feet north of Rawlins, Wyoming, and what appears to be just east of the thunderstorms in that region. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy spoke to Fox News this morning about the incident, saying federal officials will investigate.
I'm not sure if this was knowable with regard to the turbulence or if this was weather that popped up, but anyone who flies knows that we delay flights, cancel flights when weather happens. That didn't happen here, and so we are doing a full-scale review right now to see what went wrong, because, again, this kind of turbulence is incredibly dangerous, and we don't want the flying public to go through it. So, again, what we find out, we are going to remedy. We'll get to the bottom of it, and I'll be happy to come back and share those results in that review with you.
Secretary Duffy says this is a great example as to why you should always wear your seatbelt on the plane, even if the sign is off. That's in case you encounter unexpected rough air.
I always wear my seatbelt. I don't want to be just Mr. Safety Guy, but I leave my seatbelt on all the time unless I go to the bathroom. This is a great example. Keep your seatbelt on when you're on a flight. Accidents can happen. Things can happen. And seatbelts truly do make flying safer, so wear your seatbelt unless you're going to the bathroom and the seatbelt sign is off.
We will continue to track this story as it develops. We hope to get more information on the passengers who were injured and the investigation into what happened. We'll bring you both as soon as we know more on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Millions of people evacuated for a tsunami that didn't quite pan out. After the break, officials reevaluate the processes to keep people safe. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
All quiet on your Salt Lake County freeways. In Utah County, we still have that stalled vehicle partially blocking a left lane of traffic on the exit ramp at southbound I-15 Main Street, Spanish Fork. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Listen to KSL for the new and traditional content you've always loved. There's the new Inside Sources, expanded from 9 to noon, and new expanded news coverage with Maria Chaleos on midday, noon to 3. And of course, the news and weather from voices you love, mornings and afternoons. Here are new traditions and the familiar ones on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you can tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
U.S. taxpayer expense.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Chaleos. Coastal communities across the Pacific Ocean are breathing a sigh of relief after a massive earthquake triggered tsunami warnings on multiple continents. No major damage or loss of life is reported, but the ordeal forced mass evacuations, including along much of Hawaii's west coast. ABC's Trevor Alt sits down with Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast to talk about how officials are reevaluating their evacuation plans and processes after this event.
As much of the country woke up yesterday, many people in Hawaii were just getting to sleep, not just because of the time difference, but because the evening had been so stressful. For hours throughout Tuesday night, sirens had been going off, warning coastal residents of an oncoming tsunami. This was the result of an earthquake all the way up in Russia, and yet that earthquake was so big it caused fear across the entire Pacific Ocean.
Don't go down to the beach. Don't be looking at waves. Get yourself as high as you possibly can.
ABC's Trevor Alt is based in L.A., and Trevor, there are warnings in L.A. too, right? Can you walk us through the scope of all of this?
Absolutely, Brad. I mean, it's hard to overstate just how big the alarm was when you talk about the entire Pacific Rim, not to mention the fact that this is one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded, about 85 miles off the eastern coast of Russia, in an area called the Kamchatka region. This is an area that is known, Brad, as the Ring of Fire because of how frequently they have these kinds of seismic events. And in fact, it actually did prompt Russia's largest volcano to erupt as well. So you have all of the tremors that come with a violent earthquake like that in Russia, buildings shaking. We've seen videos of surgeons performing, having to hold their patient down in the operating room as the building is shaking. And then, of course, it expands outward on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. In Japan, you have 2 million people who go under evacuation orders immediately because of those waves that they are coming. And then here in the United States, it's not just Hawaii or even just California. We're talking about Hawaii, all the way up to Alaska, and all the way down the West Coast, all went on some varying degree of tsunami advisory or even tsunami warnings. And the worst of it, Brad, was in Hawaii. They were evacuating essentially the entire coast, everybody who was out on the water, closing all the beaches and get them up to higher ground.
You have to be at least 100 feet above sea level or 2 miles inland, just in case.
That, in turn, created its own sort of emergency because you saw insane gridlock on the roads, everyone who was trying to make sure that they could get to safety. Now, the positive news is that after this massive earthquake, these tsunami waves, which did eventually make it to their destinations as warned, they were not nearly as severe as we feared they might be, and there was no reported loss of life or severe injuries.
So far, we have not seen a wave of consequence, which is great relief to us. It's kind of a blessing to not be reporting any damage.
That is great news, but of course it was nothing but chaos for about 12 hours because the tsunami, it is unique in that we know that it's coming because we have buoys strategically placed all throughout the ocean. Those are tripped and they say, oh, there is this massive tsunami wave that's already here, and we know where it's headed, to the point that you can actually forecast a specific time where the first wave is expected to land. That is very unique. It's also extremely beneficial because it means that they have several hours to prepare and pull people away from the water. So when you are across the Pacific Ocean, you have the ability to take steps to protect life. The fact, of course, though, is what we eventually saw is the waves that hit Hawaii, those tsunami waves, were only about 5.5 feet in size. It does not look like a ton of damage was done. You can look at it either as a success in preparation and a bullet dodged, or maybe people took some steps that were a bit extreme and we got lucky.
While the original tsunami forecast was quite extreme, the actual result was much more mild. In many ways, officials say this is a really good test, a chance to see how their warning and evacuation systems are working.
As far as the evacuations, though, because this was one of the biggest evacuations we've seen in modern years, how did they go, and have we learned anything from them? Was it too much concern for this type of event?
Well, I think that, number one, you learn that it can be effective, especially when you have that much lead time. It does create some chaos.
So yeah, 3 hours it took me to go 12 miles to get home.
But ultimately, as slow as it was on the roads, all of those people did get to safety and did get to higher ground. So I think the main takeaway is that they do work in clearing people out of the coastlines, particularly in Hawaii, where there's maybe not that many places to go. You hope that the takeaway is not from all these people who evacuated that they think, oh, well, all of that was unnecessary. Next time I'm going to stay put. What I've always heard in speaking with these kinds of officials is if you do the preparation correctly, it will feel at the end like you overreacted, because the only other option then is underreact. Maybe you get lucky, it feels normal, but then the one time when the variables do not line up in your favor, then you could see substantial loss. So yes, does it maybe seem like all of this was unnecessary, where we had crazy gridlock in Hawaii? You had cruise ships in docks that were stranding people on the island because they were just going out to sea to avoid the wave, and instead you just had people who were left on the dock who ended up being fine. Sure, but I do think that ultimately in these circumstances, you're going to take the steps that they can almost guarantee will prevent loss of life, even if that means sometimes it's a scramble that appears unnecessary in hindsight.
Right. Like most people in Hawaii who reporters spoke to, people would say, yeah, better safe than sorry. The question, like you said, is, are they still going to think better safe than sorry next time they get one of these big alarms? All right. Trevor Ault, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, or will they worry that it's just a cry wolf? ABC's Trevor Ault, and start here's Brad Milkey there. Waves and surges could continue for the next several days at several areas around the Pacific Ocean, and thank goodness no one was hurt in that. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Chaleos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Schools start in just a few weeks, and there are changes to the popular Utah Fits All Scholarship program that you need to know about. Is now a good time to refinance your car? We'll talk up interest rates with the financial planner. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Slow speeds going through the construction zone on southbound I-15 between Kaysville into Farmington. Maria?
Headed for a high today of 97, but into the mid-90s for the weekend. KSL's top local stories coming up in 1 minute, but first, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A teacher has been charged in the stabbing murders of a couple in front of their kids on a hiking trail in Arkansas. Police say 28-year-old Andrew McGann killed Clinton and Kristen Brink this past weekend. State Police Colonel Mike Hager says McGann confessed, but they don't have a motive.
We do believe he acted alone. We have absolutely no reason to believe that there's anyone else involved, and we do not anticipate any future arrest or any other arrest.
McGann was ordered held without bond. The deadline for tariffs to kick in now less than 24 hours away. President Trump, though, says he's open to keeping talks going past the deadline for some countries. Hikes on foreign goods, economists say, likely get passed on to consumers. At least 25 people were hospitalized after a Delta Airbus experienced heavy turbulence several times last night during a flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam. That flight diverted to Minneapolis. Delta says all injured passengers have been released from the hospital. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The Utah inmate charged with the murder of a Santa Quin officer last year is now accused of attacking jail deputies. Michael Jane is awaiting trial in the Utah County Jail for the death of Sergeant Bill Hoosier. Police documents say Jane was pulled in for questioning over contraband found in his jail cell. During the interview, he allegedly attacked deputies, throwing punches and clawing at one man's eyes. 2 of the deputies had to be treated at a nearby hospital. Police are investigating after some racist graffiti showed up in an Eagle Mountain neighborhood. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Racial slurs and even a swastika was spray painted onto a neighborhood mailbox and the sidewalk next to it. Sergeant Ray Ormond with the Utah County Sheriff's Office says most of the time graffiti cases are solved through witness. So they're encouraging anyone who may have seen what happened to come forward. The department is also looking around the area, asking neighbors to check their doorbell or security camera footage.
Ormond says the graffiti has since been cleaned up. July is now the deadliest of any month ever for motorcycle riders in Utah. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
A joint news conference between the Utah Department of Public Safety, the Highway Patrol, the power sports industry, and the widow of a rider took place this morning to raise awareness to the dangers of using motorcycles. Spokesman for the UHP Major Jeff Nybor says 14 motorcyclists died this month, and 59% of the riders were not wearing a helmet.
The widow of a rider who died last year implored others to not drive stupid on a motorcycle by always being dressed properly on a bike. Other local stories KSL is following. Utah leaders say you should soon see better prices at stores and fewer trucks on the road now that a new railway facility has opened on Salt Lake City's west side. Governor Spencer Cox says he's just as excited about this new facility as he was when we were awarded the 2034 Olympics.
It's going to make it easier to ship goods from Utah and to Utah and do so even cheaper than we've been able to do in the past. So it's going to help our pocketbooks, it's going to create jobs, it's going to help our infrastructure.
The new facility moves goods from trucks to trains and is expected to help our local supply chain run more efficiently. In the end, analysts say that'll help with traffic and prices for local shoppers. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow has been in negative territory since yesterday. The Dow now down 231 points. That's about 0.5%, sitting at 44,230. S&P 500 down by 12, and the NASDAQ, it's up by 25 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a new crash. This is in the West Valley area on the ramp from northbound I-215's West Belt to go westbound on the 21st South Freeway. And for those who were dealing with the stalled vehicle in traffic for Utah County drivers, it has been cleared. It was on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at Spanish Fork Main Street. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Not much change in the forecast expected for the next 7 days. Not a chance of rain, and the highs staying in the mid-90s and lows near 70 degrees. 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Get Mr. Mac's Performance Missionary Package. Includes 1 performance suit, 4 head collar stretch shirts, 3 ties, 1 mission belt, 1 pair of Echo or Johnston & Murphy shoes. All for just $695 at Mr. Mac.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
A lot of the big events of the summertime of 25 are in the rear-view mirror now. We're approaching August. It is time to get the kids ready to go back to school, squeak in that last vacation, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse would like to help. With their 2 locations, you can drop by for the meal of the year. It waits for you at 275 South on West Temple. All kinds of things to do right now in downtown Salt Lake City. And if you're going up for that big hike or just a shopping experience in the Park City area, there's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse right there at Hotel Park City. There's no need to go out and fire up the grill, go and buy the steaks and then all the side dishes and desserts. Then you have to worry about cooking that steak just right. I mean, after all, we know how expensive steaks are right now. It has to be cooked to perfection. The side dishes, everything else. And then there's the cleanup. Let Ruth's Chris Steakhouse take care of that for you. Wrap up your great summertime with an experience at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Chaleos. The start of a new school year now just a few weeks away. For families who applied for the Utah Fits All Scholarship, an update: you will need to reapply. It comes following a rocky transition to a new provider that left the assistance in question. Robin Bagley with Utah Education Fits All says the new program manager, Odyssey, is now cleaning up applications and asking for missing documents.
The window that's opening now is not going to be open to any parents who did not apply by the May 1 deadline. So the former program manager conducted that application process, and the law now dictates the timeline for the application period. And that closed on May 1. So what's happening now is Odyssey is having to clean up these applications and get all of the correct information from those applicants who applied by that deadline. So it's only open to those parents. That includes the renewal parents and any new applicants who got in by May 1. And those families will have until the 15th to complete that information.
She says families who applied need to keep a close eye on their email.
Whenever there's a transition like this and there's upheaval to a program, that causes tremendous concern with parents. They've got some fear and uncertainty about how it's going to move forward. And of course, as we mentioned, the law had some dramatic changes, and this really impacts families. They've had a lot of questions. And, for them, the jury is still out. What is this program going to look like this year? How is it going to function? Am I going to be able to provide the education needs for my students in a similar way than I did last year? And as you know, some things were cleaned up and tightened on expenditures that I think are positive for the program. But at the same time, we're hoping that the implementation and moving forward is a smooth transition. It's not over-regulated with too many onerous requirements. I mean, the point of a program like this is that parents are in the driver's seat. They know what's best for their students. The law has great guidelines and parameters, but we need to trust parents, and we need to make this process easy for them and not difficult.
Bagley tells KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera that the great thing about Utah Fits All is that it allows parents to make the right education choices for their children's needs.
It's really a program that empowers parents to find the best fit for their child's education. And, these around the country have been called education savings accounts. And what the family can do with that is they can choose private school or homeschool, and within that come a variety of options where you're choosing co-ops or micro schools or curriculum, extracurriculars in PE, supplemental materials for education, whatever it is that your child needs to meet their education, learning expectations and goals. The scholarship will fund those items.
Parents can also get more information on Odyssey's website.
If they go to the Odyssey website, that's where they need to go, and they need to go under the section of support for Utah, and they'll find information there. They'll find articles about the documentation needed for the application process. It outlines what those documents are, and continue to look for information. Odyssey is sending out information today and tomorrow with more specifics and information about how parents will log in. As soon as we see that, we'll also share it. Again, the difference this time is there's not going to be a portal that's just out there open to anyone, right? It's going to be a closed portal only for those who previously applied by May.
Got it.
But yeah, the best advice I can give is these parents need to pay close attention to the information they're receiving from Odyssey. And our organization will try to back that up as best we can to help them stay in the loop.
Bagley says while the transition caused confusion, she's hopeful, and she urges families to keep an eye on their inbox for the next steps. And again, they will need to reapply. Utah County Sheriff's Office wants to hear from you if you know anything about some racist graffiti that showed up in Eagle Mountain earlier this week. Sergeant Ray Ormond spoke earlier with KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla. He confirmed the vandalism includes racial slurs and a swastika.
Our Eagle Mountain division was notified of some graffiti in the area of the Rock Creek condominiums in Eagle Mountain on the 28th at around 12:30 in the afternoon, that there had been some graffiti most likely done over the nighttime hours of various different, there's some foul language or inappropriate symbols and pictures that were spray painted on a sidewalk median area on the Rock Creek condo area and on one of the community mailboxes. We had a deputy that responded out there and met with the reporting party who showed him where the graffiti was. Our deputy then contacted the property owners, which included the U.S. Postal Service and the property management for the Rock Creek condos. That graffiti, to my understanding, has since been cleaned up. And then our deputies have been working through canvassing the area, trying to see if there are any witnesses, trying to see if anybody happened to record anything on a doorbell camera or any type of cameras that were in the areas.
And while those cameras are great, they still need eyewitness accounts.
As with most graffiti, that's typically how we're able to solve it, is through a witness or a surveillance video that happened to record the incident. Because typically the people who do the tagging or spray painting will keep those spray paint cans with them. Especially in this case, it was just a small amount of graffiti. It's not like it was a large, like a mural or anything on a wall. It was a couple of small insulated areas, not enough that would have used the entire can. So typically those individuals will take that spray paint can with them. So it's really going to come down to if somebody happened to see something that they can let us know and work a lead off of that.
Even without the hateful nature of the messaging, graffiti vandalism is a crime.
Typically, that would be considered, property destruction, Class B misdemeanor. It's something that typically is associated with a fee or a fine, some potential community service hours, depending on the age of the individual. A lot of the times, these are juveniles that do that, and so typically a juvenile court would institute some sort of community service and some classes with that. If it's an adult, there is a possibility of potential jail time in lieu of fines if they're not able to comply with what a court would order them to do.
Again, that is Sergeant Ray Ormond with the Utah County Sheriff's Office. If investigators believe that this was a hate crime, that could add more gravity to any potential charges and more punishment to a conviction. Under state law, hate crimes carry enhanced penalties. And we'll watch and see what happens with this case. Midday with Maria Chaleos continues in just 60 seconds.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
With high inflation and higher cost to buy a new car, many people are considering whether it would be worth it to refinance their auto loan. I asked the MBA financial planner Shane Stewart if now is a good time to refinance your loan.
It may be. A few years ago, we hit historic highs in auto rates, and that has consequently tapered back off. And so if you took a loan a couple of years ago and you have a higher rate than is available today, maybe by at least 1% and sometimes 2% different, it might be a good time to refinance. Take a look at what your situation is and analyze that and get with the lender and see if it makes sense for you.
Yeah, describe what people should actually look at. How do they sit down and really make that analysis? Because maybe 1% wouldn't be enough to make a difference with fees that would be incurred.
That's correct. And in fact, the benchmark is usually 1% or better on the rate to make it even worth your while. And that's true not only of auto loans, but of any kind of loan because of the fees and the hassle it takes to do that. However, there may be other reasons to refinance as well. So 1%, you're kind of your benchmark. If it's better than that, start taking a look. And then also, how far along are you in the loan? If you're far enough along in the loan that you're paying more towards principal than you are interest, you might just not refinance and just see that thing out, even though it might be a little bit higher rate.
Right. What kind of advice do you give folks? I mean, it's not just about an auto loan. It's really about the whole package of your budget, right?
That's correct. In fact, you have to assess your entire debt load, including reminding yourself that the goal is the best number for debt is 0 and keep working towards that, because some of these auto loans refinance, they're actually allowing you to take equity in your car, meaning if you have equity in the car and you want to get a loan for more than what you still owe, you could. I strongly recommend that we don't do that, because it's just bringing on more debt. So you have to be really careful about bringing on more debt, to making this turn out to be maybe easy on the pocketbook for the monthly payment, but difficult in the long run. And so you have to take a look at the long view, make sure you're doing the right thing for the future.
Are we getting better as far as debt? I mean, we've been going through this period of time where we've seen high inflation and high interest rates. What are you seeing? What kinds of things are you hearing from clients?
Yeah, there's a little bit more consumer confidence out there right now than there has been. And consumer sentiment is a good driver of the economy. It's actually the reason that we see things like the Fed holding pat on not lowering rates quite yet. They don't want to stimulate the economy too much, because despite all of the things that have happened, including insecurity with tariffs and all those kinds of things, the economy is still relatively resilient, and that shows with the consumer sentiment. We're still thinking our jobs are secure enough to go out and purchase goods and services.
Yeah, with the Fed leaving the interest rates alone this week, should people be hopeful, maybe wait a little bit longer to do any sort of refinancing in hopes that they will lower that rate?
I think you can. I think you can. That's always a question mark of when. You might be waiting too long. I probably wouldn't make my entire decision on waiting for the Fed, but if you're able to wait and looking at refinancing, you might wait a few more months to see how this plays out. It's likely the Fed will lower rates sometime this year, and we're only a few months until the end of the year, so you could wait that out. But if you're in the process of buying something or looking at purchasing something and it's the right thing to do, I probably wouldn't wait out the Fed rates.
Okay. Anything that you would like to add that might be helpful for folks?
I think this is an interesting situation that we have historically never really seen the ability to refinance an auto loan. And so this is kind of a new animal, new product. And I think it's just the competitive nature of offering credit, and they're finding ways to offer you more credit. And if they can save you a few dollars on your payments, they're glad to, because now the debt is with them rather than the competitor. That
is DMBA financial planner Shane Stewart. Edmunds.com says the average car payment today is around $750 a month. Students getting their hands dusty and dirty on an archaeological dig in Provo. More on that next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
Well, crews have literally just cleaned up this accident. I think it was just a single vehicle crash on the ramp from northbound I-215's west belt to go westbound on the 21st South Freeway. It was over to the right. Everything is gone in traffic, getting back to normal in that area again. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Health care with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE Kitchen Suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max XR 8 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For nearly 70 years, Les Olson IT has been the trusted name for businesses. From state-of-the-art printers and copiers to managed IT services, we have the solutions you need to stay ahead in today's world. And now Les Olson IT is trusted and licensed in Utah for security systems, for technology that helps you work smarter. Les Olson IT, providing solutions that empower your business.
Les Olson IT.
This is Midday with Maria Chaleos. BYU students and professors have been busy digging up artifacts at a 1,000-year-old Fremont Indian site just north of the Provo Airport. Professor Michael Searcy, chair of the Department of Anthropology at BYU, joined me to talk about their exciting discoveries.
So we've been working out at the Hinckley Farms property since 2013, and they have one of the last bits of preserved archaeological evidence of what was once a large Fremont Indian village. And it spread everywhere from the edge of Utah Lake all the way into where there's a lot of residential expansion right now. And unfortunately, because of residential and agricultural expansion, we've lost quite a bit of the remains of these ruins. But the Hinkleys have preserved a small portion of the land there where it is especially rich in evidence of these people that live there, including houses, artifacts, and even burials, human remains left from when these people occupied that area just east of Utah Lake.
That does have to be pretty exciting, though, that you can do such an archaeology camp so close to BYU.
Yes, no, we are extremely lucky to have an archaeological site that is so well preserved and also just full of experiences for our students, because not only can we take them and get outside of the classroom and essentially be in an outdoor classroom, but then we can also invite the public, like the middle school and high school students who came this past week to experience archaeology firsthand. It just gives them an experience that is so unlike you can get in the classroom.
Give us a few more specifics on the cool things that you have found.
So in the past excavations that we've done, those in 2013, 2015, and 2023, we've been able to uncover 4 individual structures. These were the majority of these were pit structures, so they would excavate a small depression into the ground and then build their houses out of that. And within these structures, we found evidence of the foods that they ate, such as wild game like deer and rabbit. We also have evidence in the form of fishing hooks and harpoons that suggest that they really harvested a lot of fish, and they were master fishermen. We actually show that of all the bones that we found, the majority are fish bone. So fish like the Utah chub and the June sucker that are native to Utah Lake were a major food source for the Fremont as well.
So you mentioned that this area is kind of under encroachment from development. Are you going to be able to continue to dig at this site, and are there still things to be found?
We hope that we can continue excavating at the Hinckley Mounds. I will say that it is under threat of being developed. The reason I say that is in the, I think it was in, I'm not sure exactly when, but eminent domain has been invoked in this area, and the Hinkleys have lost many acres of their land to urban development. In particular, Provo City has taken part of their land for not only the Lakeview Parkway expansion and the West Side Connector, but we're always in fear that the airport could expand as well. And so this is land that they don't have a choice to sell, but they're required to sell. And I've worked with the Hinckley family to try and preserve it. So the hope is that the city and the citizens can see how important this archaeological site is, as it is the very last bit of the larger Provo mounds that exist to this day.
And is there a place where people can go to see some of these wonderful items that you've dug up?
Yes. So some of the artifacts that we've excavated from the Hinckley Mounds are on display at the Museum of Peoples and Cultures at BYU. And this is a free, open to the public a museum, and we encourage anybody and everybody who wants to come see these artifacts at our permanent exhibit on Utah Valley to come by. It's located at 2201 North Canyon Road in Provo. And like I said, it's free and open to the public. So a great thing to do for the last little bit of summer here.
All right. Any final thoughts for us?
Many people don't realize that there was much history in Utah before the pioneers came, and we just celebrated the days of 47. But even in Utah Valley alone, we have archaeological remains that go back all the way to even 7000 BC. So there's a very rich archaeological history in Utah, and we hope that coverage like this, and then also the camps that provide students with the opportunity to learn about this history, is that they can go forward and not only become historians and archaeologists, but can also work to preserve this archaeology down the road.
Great. Thanks so much for being with me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maria.
Professor Michael Searcy is the chair of the Department of Anthropology at BYU. Thanks for joining me on Midday. We are streaming live on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. In the 2 o'clock hour, a shortage of nurses and apparently a shortage of beginning nursing jobs here in Utah. More on that story in the next hour of Midday.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A DOJ request for Utah to turn over voter information to the federal government. Some officials here are concerned.
Each state manages their voter list, and they know their voters. And it's different from state to state. And anytime you do anything at a federal level with a broad brush, you're going to have problems.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, July 31st. It's midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Coming up, we'll dig into the legalities of this request and what it means for your personal and private voter information. Also this hour,
took a decade to get here, but so worth it. A lot of negotiations.
A new major intermodal hub bringing additional rail capacities to Utah. But first, our top stories. A Utah eye doctor and his wife said they were lifted out of their seats when a Delta flight that they were on hit turbulence last night on the way to Amsterdam.
So there was one flight attendant who was attending to us. She went all the way up to the ceiling. The passengers actually grabbed her to keep her from hitting the ceiling.
Dr. Joseph Carbone tells KSL TV's Deja Brown people were screaming, and it felt like a roller coaster ride as they dropped and lifted up 3 different times. He says he did see people injured, but he wants to give thanks to the pilots and the crew who put all the passengers first after that scary experience. Our top national story. Texas Republicans have proposed a congressional map that makes it easier for Republicans to pick up as many as 5 additional seats in the House. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is in Austin, Texas, and says Democrats in Texas and nationwide will do what they can to block the maps from taking effect.
First and foremost, we have to make clear to the people of Texas what's taking place, because it's unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And as elected officials, we have that responsibility. That's not something we can just brush aside.
The congressional maps weren't scheduled to be redrawn for another 5 years. Other national stories KSL is following. 2 plumbers in San Diego County are being credited with saving a grandmother's life as she was attacked by a swarm of bees. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Diosdado San Roque and his coworker became unexpected heroes. On the job at Happy Plumbing, they saw a family in distress, being overcome by a swarm of bees. He jumped in, and he has the evidence on his body to prove it.
A lot of these bee stings are around my body.
The plumbers noticed a family waving them down for help. A grandmother covered in bees leaning against a car and fainting. He caught her as she went down, and as he got stung, he dragged her to safety. Eventually, firefighters came in and used a helicopter to create wind to disperse the bees.
I'm just glad that we were there at the right time.
Alex Stone, ABC News.
Oh, wow, that's a terrifying story. The Dow right now down by 330 points at the close. That's about 0.75%, sitting at 44,130. S&P 500 down by 24 points today. The NASDAQ also down by about 7 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
Valley Freeway traffic, we're in pretty good shape. No accidents, but we do have slow speeds. It's all due to construction, southbound I-15 getting into Farmington. And Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash at Foothill and Wakara Way. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today around 97 degrees, and then our high staying in the mid-90s for the next 6 days. 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment.
Utah deserves better. If you just got a quote on a new furnace or air conditioner and felt like they were pushing you into something big and expensive, you're not the only one. A lot of home service companies here in Utah aren't really local anymore. They've been bought out by private equity groups focused on profits, not people. Here at Your Service Pros, we're different. We're Utah-based, family-owned, and built on trust, not sales quotas. We offer free second opinions on repairs or replacement because most people just want to know the truth. If your system can be repaired, we'll gladly fix it. But if it needs to be replaced, we'll show you your options, including a hybrid system with up to $6,650 in total rebates. We'll make sure you're getting the best price possible, not some inflated quote so our investors can get richer. Your Service Pros has served Utah homeowners for over 20 years, and we're proud to have a 4.9-star rating from families just like yours. So call Your Service Pros today at 801-YOUR-PRO. If you need a free second opinion on your heating, air, plumbing, or electrical, call 801-YOUR-PRO, because Utah deserves better.
Utah's Lieutenant Governor's office being asked to hand over voter rolls to the U.S. Department of Justice. The DOJ seeking voter information from multiple states as they look into possible elections fraud. Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. KSL legal analyst and Inside Sources co-host Greg Skorda says the request is a little suspicious.
And you wonder exactly what information they're seeking. Right. They're seeking information from the state. And, of course, Utah, the lieutenant governor's position is do that. Some states call it a secretary of state. But it's the same role, election oversight. And they have the information that the federal government wants to get, the Department of Justice wants to get. This whole election fraud thing has just gotten so that we continue to hammer it. And more people seem to still think that there is election fraud. I think we do things so well in Utah. Mm-hmm. And we've had, for example, people get upset about mail-in voting. It's something we've done in Utah for longer than most any other state, and without any problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Utah is specifically being asked for this information, but it's not every state. It's just states that have been received this letter from the Department of Justice saying, hey, we need some information. Utah is now on that list.
Skorda says a big question for the states receiving this request is, do they have to comply?
So another question that we're going to have to address here, and apparently at least 2 states think they have, is when you get a request for information from the Department of Justice,
can you say no?
Can you say no? Right. What is your response?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an election clerk and you say, well, wait a minute, that's proprietary to our state, that's personal, we choose not to give you that information, what pushback are you going to get? I mean, it's the Department of Justice. It's not like, some newspaper outlet or something.
Look, sometimes for me, my response is this an order or is this a choice? Do I get to choose this or must I comply? And right now, it's just a request.
Right.
I wanted to get a county clerk's perspective on the request, so I spoke to Weber County Clerk and Auditor Ricky Hatch.
It's a little confusing to me. The Constitution and NVRA and HAVA federal law I don't see explicit authority in this area, but that's not my area of expertise. But I'm always worried whenever the federal government starts meddling in the affairs of states.
Yeah, what would be your concerns for private information?
My concern is each state manages their voter list and they know their voters, and it's different from state to state. And anytime you do anything at a federal level with a broad brush, you're going to have problems that come from using a broad brush, and you could very well have false positives, which could effectively disenfranchise legitimate citizen voters.
So what information on our voter rolls is considered private versus public, according to Utah law?
The most important thing is no voter's driver's license number, state identification, social security, or full date of birth is available to anybody other than election officials so that we can do our business. And that is no matter what, no matter who is requesting it, that information is only available to us. The general public can see the voter number, the name, address, precinct, party affiliation, which elections you voted in, when you registered, and your year of birth. But there's a small section of voters that are called withheld voters. And for them, you can't see their name nor their exact year of birth, but you can see their address, party affiliation, and the dates on which they vote. And it gives a range for a year of birth, like a 10-year range that they're in.
The DOJ has requested this information. They've been talking about elections fraud, possible elections fraud. Talk to me about what's happening in the state of Utah and how you feel about election fraud. Is it a problem here?
Well, I think Utah does an excellent job as far as voter list maintenance goes. We look at citizenship before registering any single voter. And if our verification process says that they're not a citizen, we don't register them. The state's also currently conducting an audit over citizenship, and they're taking a look at the rolls. And the state has for a couple of years now conducted an ongoing audit of the voter registration database in every county at least once a quarter. So they do a really good job, I think the state does, and the counties, in maintaining our voter lists and keeping them as absolutely current as we possibly can.
What do you hope happens from here before or if any such information is turned over to the federal government?
Well, I'd sure like to see a little bit more background as to what they plan to do with the data. And I would hope that they would treat that data with as much integrity and security and care as the county clerks in the state treats that data. That's pretty sensitive stuff, and we shouldn't just give it over to anybody unless there is legitimate constitutional need for that kind of information.
Any final thoughts for us? Anything I haven't asked you?
Everybody wants cleaner rolls. And you have to kind of balance two risks. One is a risk of having somebody who is ineligible to vote be on the voter rolls, or on the other side, having a legitimate legal citizen deprived of their right to vote. These aren't mutually exclusive situations, but if you focus too heavily on one, you risk having a negative impact on the other. And so it's a tough kind of situation, and it's complex. But the good thing is we've got good people at the county level, at the state level, and we'll make sure that our voters' records are protected.
It's unclear whether Utah will turn over our voter rolls or not. In a statement, the Lieutenant Governor says her office is reviewing the request with their legal counsel and will comply to the extent that state and federal law allows. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Do you know how America became the best country on God's green earth? We made things, from automobiles to airplanes to textiles. We were the manufacturing epicenter of the world, the innovators that every other country turned to. I'm Katie Lyon, co-founder of Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'm here to tell you that the American spirit is alive and well at Allegiance, where we make American flags 100% in America. When you fly your American flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, you're not just honoring our country, you're supporting American men and women who proudly make the highest quality American flags, period. True patriots who put care into every stitch. See our full story at showallegiance.com and learn about our 100% American-based supply chain. Fly your flag from showallegiance.com with pride, because every flag says manufacturing is still alive and well in the U.S. and we are still the greatest country. Save $35 on your American flag set when you go to showallegiance.com.
A 17-year-old girl killed in a crash in West Valley City. Police say she died after she rear-ended a pickup truck last night. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
This happened around 7 o'clock last night on 3500 South at about 4700 West.
Witnesses did report that the driver was driving at a high rate of speed outside of the normal traffic lane, coming up the turn lane and then kind of dipping quickly into the traffic lane. Traffic was stopped at the time.
West Valley City Police spokesperson Roxanne Vainuku tells me a 17-year-old girl driving a small passenger car ended up rear-ending a pickup truck, which was then forced into another car. Nobody in the truck or the other vehicle were hurt, but police believe the girl was killed on impact. Vainuku says the girl was wearing a seatbelt and that the airbag in her car did deploy. She says it's possible the sun in her eyes could have played a role, but they are still investigating. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Vainuku says that while they still investigate the cause of the crash, this is a good reminder for all drivers, and especially younger ones, to be more alert when on the road.
You know, we don't know what caused this crash at this point, but what we do know is that we all could do a little bit better at, paying closer attention and watching our speeds and all of those sorts of things. And so, especially when we have young drivers out there, we want to make sure that we're talking to them and encouraging them to practice the safest driving habits, because this is just heartbreaking. This is a 17-year-old girl whose life was cut extremely short, and it's something that no family would want to suffer through, and our heart goes out to them for sure.
A new railway facility on Salt Lake City's west side is being touted as a game changer in both lowering the price of goods and taking more vehicles off the road.
This is really a game changer, a historic game changer for the state of Utah. Having two Class 1 railways in our state puts us up with the best in the country. And again, that competition, but more importantly, the expansion that's going to happen here, this will be huge. This will create jobs, not just now, but tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs in the future, because we have this facility.
Governor Spencer Cox and other state leaders today celebrating the new intermodal hub, which is expected to help our local supply chain.
So there's a couple ways that over time this is going to really make a difference. So one is getting trucks off the road. That's good for two ways. It's good for the environment, and it's good for our infrastructure, right? Less damage to the roads. So that matters. And then it's going to impact us over time with lower prices. It's going to make it easier to ship goods from Utah and to Utah, and do so even cheaper than we've been able to do in the past. So it's gonna help our pocketbooks, it's gonna create jobs, and it's gonna help our infrastructure.
The governor says that this project has been a long time in the making.
So the first conversation I had about this was when I was lieutenant governor about 10 years ago. It's been that long, so it took a decade to get here, but so worth it. A lot of negotiations. Again, a lot of we have the inland port. That was the real key of the formation of the inland port, and getting the board structure right, and now seeing the inland port doing what we set it up to do. This was part of that. It will also help the rest of Utah, not just Salt Lake City or the Wasatch Front, but rural Utah as well. Game changer for everyone.
BNSF Railway Executive VP Tom Williams says this facility will be a huge benefit for capacity and competition.
We could not be more excited about the opening of our new intermodal facility here in Salt Lake City. This is a new intermodal destination for BNSF. We're excited to bring the additional capacity to this market and the additional competition. It's going to be really good for the Salt Lake business community and really for everyone here in Salt Lake City.
Now, Williams says several companies are already on board.
So our direct customers at BNSF Railway are the ocean carriers, and you can see the three that are on the train at the head end: CMA CGM, Mediterranean Shipping, and OOCL Corporation. And so they will bring the cargo in for all of the local distributors and the imported goods that are coming in through this terminal.
This facility is expected to help out not only the Salt Lake City area, but rural Utah as well. Officials say it will create tens of thousands of local jobs over time. A shortage of jobs for brand new nurses. More on that in just a moment. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We do have slowdowns, and it's due to road work blocking off the right lane of travel going northbound on I-215's West Belt between the 201 junction up to I-80. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Behind the curtain of Utah and Washington politics.
It seems like the federal government is now saying to the states, you have much more control of your destiny.
And expanded inside sources.
And so our legislature is trying to figure out what their boundaries are.
Well, even like FEMA, right?
Yes.
Wildfire disasters.
The all-new Inside Sources.
If we have to pay for it all of ourselves, can we afford that as a state?
Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson, now on 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
An Australian hiker travels to the American West to walk a wilderness trail.
Wasn't afraid to be out on his own.
But Eric Robinson vanished in the high Uinta Mountains.
I remember thinking, Eric, what were you thinking, mate?
I'm Dave Cawley. Join me on my podcast, Uinta Triangle, where I travel the world to answer the question, what happened to Eric Robinson? Follow Uinta Triangle. That's UINTA Triangle on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
Selling or buying a home, you're losing a lot of money if you're not using the Bank Buster loan. This is Rod with the SaveRight Realtor team at RealtyPath. Nothing compares to the Bank Buster loan. Home sellers, you get a quicker sell and a higher net price. How? The buyer of your home gets a rate as low as 4.75% with a payment that saves them hundreds every month. The ultra-low Bank Buster rate is not a seller concession that comes out of your pocket. It's all thanks to our affiliate lender, SaveRight Mortgage, and their Bank Buster loan. Hire the SaveRight Realtors when you sell or buy a home, and you automatically get a preferred lender and a Bank Buster loan. Buyers, you can start with a rate in the ones. Don't lose tens of thousands of your hard-earned money. Sell and buy your home with a Bank Buster loan. Call 801-APPROVE or visit SaveRight.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-7906. 800-298-7906.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. So we often hear about a shortage of licensed nurses, but some nurses here in Utah say getting that first job out of nursing school can be very frustrating.
You know, I put my best foot forward and applied for, goodness, I want to say 20 plus jobs in that type of field, and all of them were almost an immediate no, which was crazy because you hear that all these hospitals really do need a lot of help.
Kaylin Lippert says she started applying for jobs during her last semester of nursing school. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff turned to the experts at the Annie D. Taylor School of Nursing to find out what's happening in the field. Tressa Quayle is the department chair of associate's degrees, and Reneka Holman is the associate dean.
When we had the pandemic, COVID-19, we saw a lot of nurses leaving the profession, a lot of need for more nurses. And at that time, hospitals, facilities were hiring anybody, any new grad. They were being hired into high acuity areas such as the intensive care unit, the emergency department, labor and delivery. New grads often, they would like to have more experience before going into those high acuity areas. And as the pandemic has waned, we are seeing us getting back to those pre-pandemic conditions and looking at job placement. So a lot of our new grads are not being hired straight out of school into high acuity positions, which is, it's good. It is good for them to have more experience before going on to high acuity. A lot of our clinical partners do have nurse residency positions, and so a lot of our students are going in to do the nurse residency, and that's where they're getting more experience rather than going straight out and looking for a high acuity job. So that might be where this particular person may have had some difficulty finding a job. And then Dr. Holman has some ideas also on like our RNA and how we are getting our students into some of these new grad positions. You know, it depends on what the new grads are looking for. So there are still nursing homes that are still hiring. They're still hiring travel nurses, and they don't want to be. They want to be hiring full-time staff that's their own staff. And so if new grads aren't willing to look at places like skilled nursing facilities, or if they're not willing to do night shifts or things like that, they might be complaining or saying that it's difficult to find jobs because they can't find, you know, their ideal job. So it's actually a really complicated issue, probably more complicated than what on the surface it seems. But we have a really close relationship with many, many clinical partners across the state. And our clinical partners are, especially since the pandemic, they have really focused on recruiting and maintaining high quality staff and high quality talent. And so they're doing creative things as well. Like during the pandemic, there was a special license called the Registered Nurse Apprentice. And just a few years ago, it got put into permanent licensure. So there's a lot of clinical places that also hire what's called Registered Nurse Apprentices, which are actually students that are in their last semester of their nursing program.
But for Kaylin Lippert, she's still struggling to find her dream position.
My whole goal is to still get back into women's health, labor and delivery, which I see myself making steps into that. But with that being said, there's not usually a lot of labor and delivery positions, let alone entry-level labor and delivery positions. So, I put my best foot forward and applied for, goodness, I want to say 20-plus jobs in that type of field, and all of them were almost an immediate no. There were and still is a lot more no's that you receive than yeses, even in a hospital setting. Because you go and looked on LinkedIn, especially when I'm, in between jobs wanting to try something new, and you go on LinkedIn and it says, at least 3 years or at least 2 years is preferred, and it says new grad position or entry level. You're like, well, that's not entry level if you want 2+ years experience. So it's really difficult to find something, especially if you have a good idea of what career trajectory you want to go down in nursing or really anything medical.
And now a crazy story of survival and the help of man's best friend. Andre said he crawled and dragged himself for 11 hours across a nearly 4-mile stretch of brush in the Uinta Mountains to reach his truck after a rollover in his side-by-side left him badly injured. KSL 5 TV's Andrew Adams has the story.
Had a great day, was out there 6 hours.
This hunting trip to the Uintas was like so many others he'd photographed over the years.
Most of the day with my dog and found tons of deer, and then I found a deer I really liked.
But following that prized deer up the hill in his side-by-side
It was a little higher up, a little more treacherous.
proved to be a fateful decision for Jake Schmidt.
Split second, man. My rear right started to fall. That's when I realized, there's no hope, because I'm just slowly going over like a capsizing ship, and it just went with me and my body.
The side-by-side rolled, eventually ejecting Schmidt and leaving him badly injured.
I have a broken left tib and fib, 2 fractured ankles, a couple broken ribs, dislocated stuff, and bruises and scratches everywhere you can have it.
It was getting late, and it was up to 4 miles back to his truck.
I laid my leg on part of the roll cage that had broken off, put a stick on it, duct taped it, took my belt off, and then really tightened it all with my belt.
The hunter simply started moving, alternating between dragging and crawling through the brush.
Everybody wants to act tough, but I wanted to give up every time, all the time. But it's like either I die here or I figure it out how to keep going. So that was it.
Fortunately,
Buddy, heel.
he had his buddy with him.
Heel up over here.
Buddy the dog
Goes with me everywhere.
gave him the extra motivation he needed to survive.
I couldn't have done it without him. It's like having your best friend there just to kind of nudge you, like, keep going,
11 hours later, Schmidt made it to his truck.
And that light on his collar you see was the only light I had the entire night.
When he was in need,
Easy, dude.
Schmidt's dog was a buddy indeed.
Yeah, he's a hell of a dog.
KSL 5 TV's Andrew Adams reporting. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Chaleos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. 25 people receiving medical assistance at a flight from Salt Lake after a flight from Salt Lake hit extreme turbulence. All now released from the hospital. Utah seeing the most motorcycle deaths this month ever. The message from officials, so you stay safe. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Crews are cleaning up a crash downtown at South Temple and 4th East. Maria?
We are headed for a high today of 97 degrees. We will check KSL's top local stories in just 1 minute, but first, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Tariffs are set to kick in tomorrow for most foreign goods into the U.S. The White House announcing the U.S. and Mexico, though, have agreed to extend their trade deal by 90 days. Nearly 1,000 flights have been canceled on the East Coast today as severe storms target the East Coast with flooding a major threat. ABC News meteorologist Melissa Griffin has more.
You're going to see all of this activity pushing across the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast. D.C., Baltimore, right down through parts of Maryland and Delaware. This is where we could see the storms continuing into this evening, but the severe thunderstorm watch in effect through 8 o'clock.
A 28-year-old teacher is charged with the murders of a husband and wife in Arkansas along a hiking trail Saturday. State police say Andrew McCann stabbed the victims, but there's no known motive. President Trump signing an executive order today to expand the President's Council on Sports, Fitness and Nutrition and bringing back the presidential fitness test in public schools that was started during the Eisenhower administration. This is ABC News.
Water officials are warning Utahns to stay out of Utah Lake. The Utah Lake Authority says they have found harmful algae throughout the whole lake, and that means no swimming, no skiing, and don't let your pets in the water. UDOT is giving anyone who has been impacted by their recent traffic projects the chance to let them know if it's been good or bad.
There's a survey open that deals with all the completed traffic projects between I-15 and I-80 in Salt Lake. UDOT Region 2 Deputy Director Lisa Zundel says they want to know if you think traffic, walking and biking areas, and parking have gotten better or worse in the last 5 years.
If you're somebody that uses the city for shopping or dining or going to sporting events, have these projects changed how you go into the city, or if you changed your decision to go into the city at all?
The survey is part of requirements from the Utah legislature passed this year asking UDOT to conduct studies on their transportation plans. The survey is open until August 6th. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Utah County Sheriff's Office is investigating after some graffiti was found in an Eagle Mountain neighborhood. Sergeant Ray Ormond with Utah County Sheriff's Office says racial slurs and even swastikas were spray painted on a neighborhood mailbox and the sidewalks next to it. They're asking anyone who knows something to come forward.
As with most graffiti, that's typically how we're able to solve it, is through a witness or a surveillance video that happened to record the incident.
Ormond says the suspect could possibly face misdemeanor charges of fine, community service, or possibly jail time. A 17-year-old girl has died after police say she rear-ended a pickup truck while driving in West Valley City last night.
This happened around 7 o'clock last night on 3500 South at about 4700 West.
Witnesses did report that the driver was driving at a high rate of speed outside of the normal traffic lane, coming up the turn lane and then kind of dipping quickly into the traffic lane. Traffic was stopped at the time.
West Valley City Police spokesperson Roxanne Vainuku tells me a 17-year-old girl driving a small passenger car ended up rear-ending a pickup truck, which was then forced into another car. Nobody in the truck or the other vehicle were hurt, but police believe the girl was killed on impact.
This is just heartbreaking. This is a 17-year-old girl whose life was cut extremely short.
Vainuku says the girl was wearing a seatbelt and that the airbag in her car did deploy. She says it's possible the sun in her eyes could have played a role, but they are still investigating. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day down by 0.75%, down 330 points to end at 44,130. S&P 500 down by 24 points, and the NASDAQ, it was down by 7 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
We've had a little bit of slow traffic northbound I-215's West Belt from 2100 South up to the North Temple area. That is due to road crews on the scene blocking off a right lane. Also starting to see some heavy and slower traffic setting in southbound I-15 going from Murray into Midvale. Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance. GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still inching upward to today's high of 97 degrees into the mid-90s tomorrow. We're going to see the low 90s on Sunday, but not much change other than that. Right now, 95 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Nothing says summer like double rewards on your Mountain America Rewards credit card. Get 2 times the points on everything from gas and groceries to travel and home projects. Now through July 31st, 2025. Oh, wow. It's the perfect way to stretch your dollar and make summer doubly rewarding. Apply for your Mountain America Rewards credit card at macu.com/double. Loans on approved credit. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
Your child is 18,
and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69. Because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Chaleos. We're now hearing more from the passengers of a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam that had to be diverted for an emergency landing after at least 25 people were injured during severe turbulence. Today, Delta announcing that all those taken to the hospital have been released. Heather Lynn Lorkey spoke exclusively with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera and told him it all started about an hour into the flight without warning during their dinner service.
It's weightless. Everything that was not seatbelted in or basically put in a bag, maybe in an overhead bin, hit the ceiling, came back down, and it was multiple times. The carts hit the ceilings. The flight attendants were hitting the ceilings. People that were coming back from bathrooms were hitting the ceilings. Children that were on people's laps were hitting the ceiling. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before.
She said luckily she was buckled in at the time.
The screams were like I can't stop hearing those of people just screaming. And it was just every time we were dropping, we were weightless in our seats multiple times. And it's not funny, but it's a weird thing to describe. But everything that was on my nightstand next to me was up in the air, almost floating a couple of times, and then everything shot forward and went to the front of the plane. I'm missing all kinds of items still.
She says the whole thing only lasted for a few minutes. Some are asking if the pilots knew that they were about to hit a pocket of turbulence, but aviation expert Kyle Bailey went on Fox News Channel this morning saying sometimes you hit what he calls clear air turbulence.
This sounds like clear air turbulence, which is unexpected. And the reason I'm saying that is because if they were maneuvering around thunderstorms or big cumulus clouds that cause regular turbulence, everybody would be in their seat with the seatbelt on. The fact that there were so many injuries leads me to believe this was unexpected, possibly clear air turbulence.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy speaking to Fox News today about the incident as well.
I'm not sure if this was knowable with regard to the turbulence or if this was weather that popped up. But anyone who flies knows that we delay flights, cancel flights when weather happens. That didn't happen here, and so we are doing a full-scale review right now to see what went wrong. Because, again, this kind of turbulence is incredibly dangerous, and we don't want the flying public to go through it. So, again, what we find out, we are going to remedy. We'll get to the bottom of it, and I'll be happy to come back and share those results in that review with you.
The Secretary says this is a great example of why it's so important to keep your seatbelt fastened, even if the seatbelt sign is turned off. Lorkey says the Delta pilots and staff on the plane and on the ground were incredibly kind and compassionate the entire time. Despite the chaos, the way they handled it, according to her, was very smooth. July now on record for being the deadliest month for motorcyclists in Utah ever. Deaths up 33% this year from last year. This month, 14 motorcyclists died, leading several Utah agencies to team up with motorcycle shop owner and the widow of a rider to spread bike safety awareness.
I absolutely love motorcycles, but the reason we're here today is a very serious reason and a very significant reason.
UHP Assistant Superintendent Major Jeff Nyber says 59% of bikers who died were not wearing a helmet, and a large chunk of riders who died didn't have proper training.
36.6%, only 36.6% of these fatality riders had had a motorcycle endorsement. That's concerning. More than half don't even have motorcycle endorsements or should even be on a motorcycle, right? 9.8% of these motorcycle fatalities had any type of motorcycle training. Okay, whether a course like an MTF course or anything like that, they had zero motorcycle training. 41% of these motorcycle fatalities chose to wear a helmet, so more than half didn't even have helmets on, which is concerning. We also kind of looked into a little bit more what kind of genre, what kind of category of motorcycle are we seeing these in. 34% of those motorcycle fatalities were riding like cruisers, and then 22% were riding sports bikes or bullet bikes.
Darby Cofen says her husband was a very experienced rider, but one mistake changed everything.
He didn't have a helmet on, and the trail that he was riding on, there was a blind corner, and he didn't see the corner. And in front of him, there was a 10-foot cliff. And he fell off that cliff. And he hit his head. And, try explaining that to a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. That their dad's not coming home.
That is heartbreaking. Darby says when riding a motorcycle, it's important to focus on yourself and your surroundings.
There's kind of there's a rule in the motorcycle community that they say ride your own ride, and what that means is when you're in a group ride or even just by yourself, if people are going crazy around you, just take a minute to step back and hang back in the back of the group and just ride your own ride. That's pretty simple. Just make sure you're focusing on yourself and your surroundings, and just be cautious.
Major Nyber has one message for people who ride a motorcycle.
None of this is worth your life. Okay, I'm really glad Darby said this, but don't drive stupid on a motorcycle. That's a message we want to get across today. It is not worth your life. Speeding, taking corners too fast, splitting traffic, things of that nature are not worth your life. Because guess what? If you make a mistake and you can go in that fast, you will die, and we will have similar situations. Your family will have to go through similar situations such as Darby, and we don't want that to happen.
You can learn more about motorcycle safety plus tips for car drivers on the road at ridetolive.utah.gov. Midday with Maria Chaleos continues in just 60 seconds.
You probably saved my life.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight and keep it off.
I mean, I was 30 pounds overweight, and I went in, and the doctor said, you need to change your diet.
Get help and get started with Soda Weight Loss.
Got off my blood pressure medicine and my cholesterol medicine, and that is amazing to me.
I went from a 16, 18 down to a size 4 now. So that is amazing. It makes you feel so good.
Splash into summer savings right now with Soda's lowest prices of the year.
No injections, no pills, no hunger.
I would recommend Soda because it's sustainable. This is lifetime change.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal.
We're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and results. And with our incredible summer savings, what are you waiting for?
Get help. Get results at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
We are 6 months into President Trump's second term in office, with immigration and Medicaid being some of his main focuses. Congressman Blake Moore says Medicaid will be discussed a lot in Congress over the next year and a half.
Medicaid is going to be something that's discussed a lot, and particularly over the next 18 months until these policies that we put in place come to fruition, because there's a whole 18-month line where they will, how would you say, they're going to be assessed and then implemented. It's very simple. There's a work requirement now for individuals that are able-bodied, in the working age, have no dependents or other ailments or certain things or exemptions that would make it so they couldn't work. And they're only required to work 18 or so hours a week, whether it's volunteer, they can use volunteer times, or job training. All that type of stuff qualifies. We made it very encompassing. We just wanted to create that. People don't disagree with the policy. The implementation of it is obviously a new thing, but it's something we've done before, like from the Clinton administration. These are things that we wanted to get back into that. That's the major thing with the Medicaid piece.
Moore spoke to Inside Sources today detailing how the new Medicaid work requirement works and how certain exemptions will work too.
I'm confident that there will be carve-outs, and whether they're like how those specifically are implemented right now. I don't have the list in front of me on all the specific things. I just know that it was very broad on what we allowed for exemptions. And it got to the point where that's a sincere issue. And that is not somebody taking advantage of the system in any way, shape, or form. And we're going to make sure that that type of stuff doesn't get overlooked. That's the intent, and I'm confident that will be cleared.
Congressman Moore also talked about the president's immigration changes, saying that there have been some easy cases and some tough cases.
But we've taken in cases where people have reached out to us, and they've been tough cases, right? I'm just going to speak very real here. Like, these are folks that are known in the community that are here and they're working. They came in improper circumstances, and they need to rectify that, but they're also well loved in their community. And we've had a few of those cases. Those are hard to grapple with. When an individual is here and they've committed any type of additional criminal activity, those are the easy, cut and dry ones, right? Where someone should be deported. But it's tough. What I saw from President Trump's communication a few months back, where he seemed like he recognized the issue of what farmers and ranchers and agriculture as construction companies and these types of things, like they're having a lot of sort of angst right now about where workforce challenges. They did not create this problem. The industries that have largely relied on an immigrant workforce, and most of it's legal, but there is illegal immigration that is still supporting a workforce. Like, they didn't create this problem, and they're going to have a lot of issues going forward. But President Trump seemed to understand that. I just want to see the administration, really put forth some ideas and potential fixes to address those things that President Trump has already communicated he has some sensitivity towards.
Moore says he wants to see the administration help to provide more solutions to immigration issues.
So over the first 6 months, obviously very, very supportive of getting the border under control. The cartels aren't empowered like they used to be over the last few years. Those are all things that have been exceptional. And we need to move to that step of there are individuals that absolutely should be deported. There are individuals they've been here for several years. They're working. We, per President Trump, he's got to be willing to sort of back up that communication of recognizing that there's issues in the agriculture space and other similar industries, and find some type of opportunities there. I don't know specifically what that looks like. There's lots of proposals in Congress, things where there would be fines paid, getting back to the line. Some people would have to leave and go back, but they would be allowed to get, taken the good, solid work that they did and what they did contribute as a merit-based plan into some type of legal opportunity to work here. Those things are all discussed, and I would love to see some leadership from President Trump on what he communicated not more than just a couple months ago.
That is Congressman Blake Moore speaking to Inside Sources this morning. President Trump calling on drug companies to lower their prices. More on that from News Nation after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's Double Rewards credit card promotion. Ricky?
Crash free on your Salt Lake County freeways, but not delay free. Southbound I-15 already bogged down between 53rd and 90th South. Northbound I-15 a little busy and slow, 2100 South to the 6 South exit. UTA is road therapy. Give your car a break and get more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
Don't let the wrong gear cost you that trophy animal. Upgrade your arsenal with premium brands at great prices during the Shields Hunting Sale event on now through August 3rd. From bows, crossbows, and archery accessories to camo from brands like First Light, Sitka, and Shields Outfitters, every piece of gear is hand-selected for serious hunters like you. Join the community of hunters who trust Shields experts to outfit their adventures and get more bang for your buck in-store or online now through August 3rd at Shields.
Join KSL on the movie show crew this Friday from 10 to 1 at the Hale Center Theater, 9900 Monroe Street in Sandy, hct.org.
Visit the contest page on KSLNewsRadio.com. This week, win tickets to Catch the Beach Boys, part of the Deer Valley Music Festival, August 1st and 2nd. Don't miss timeless hits from the Beach Boys, like Good Vibrations and Surfin' USA. Or win tickets to Lagoon. Lagoon, it's what fun is. Plus, win free tickets to an upcoming Real Salt Lake home match. What are you waiting for? Enter now. Text the word contest to 57500 or go to KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
You probably saved my life.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight and keep it off.
I mean, I was 30 pounds overweight, and I went in, and the doctor said, you need to change your diet.
Get help and get started with Soda Weight Loss.
Got off my blood pressure medicine and my cholesterol medicine, and that is amazing to me.
I went from a 16, 18 down to a size 4 now. So that is amazing. It makes you feel so good.
Splash into summer savings right now with Soda's lowest prices of the year.
No injections, no pills, no hunger.
I would recommend Soda because it's sustainable. This is lifetime change.
I let go of 50 pounds. It felt unreal.
We're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and results. And with our incredible summer savings, what are you waiting for?
Get help. Get results at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus, offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chevy.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is Midday with Maria Chaleos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. President Trump has sent letters to 17 pharmaceutical companies about reducing drug prices. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said at her press briefing today that Mr. Trump sent out the letters after an executive order earlier this year. News Nation's Tom Dempsey was there.
The White House press secretary actually holding up one of the many letters that will be going out today. The letter she held up is going to the CEO of Eli Lilly. But for some background about all this all has to do with the prices Americans pay for pharmaceutical drugs when they go to CVS or wherever they pick up medications. And this is turning into a very big issue for the president here, talking about an executive order calling on these pharmaceutical companies to really, take further action about driving down the prices Americans pay for those medications. So during that press conference that just wrapped up a short while ago, the White House press secretary saying that in total 17 letters will be sent out to CEOs of pharmaceutical companies. We know Eli Lilly will be one of them, calling on them to really take action and work with the administration to lower drug prices. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of response we see with all this, because this is one of those issues that could impact Americans directly at home when they go to the pharmacy, and the administration saying during this press conference that they're going to be putting a little bit more pressure on these companies to lower their prices.
The president signed an executive order earlier this year to solve the problem of exorbitant pharmaceutical pricing. According to recent data, the prices that Americans have been paying for brand name drugs are more than 3 times the price other similarly developed nations pay. The president is determined to solve this problem.
So again, 17 letters could be sent out to these CEOs of pharmaceutical companies later today. President Trump clearly putting more attention on this issue now.
The president has posted copies of each letter to his social media platform. Could the iPad replace the Mac? Phones and tablets have been taking share away from the desktop and the laptop for years. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more in today's tech trends.
The iPad has never been a complete replacement for a laptop, says Engadget's Chair Lynn Lowe, and that was because of the software.
The way Windows for apps worked in iPads was not good. You just couldn't run multiple apps side by side the way you would on a regular laptop.
But Apple's latest update brings with it the ability to resize app windows and move them anywhere on the screen, just like you would on a MacBook. And they come with the same menu bars and controls to minimize and maximize.
It's such a simple thing, but it really replicates the desktop experience very well.
Lowe says it's probably not going to matter that much to casual iPad users, but
if you are one of those people that bought an iPad Pro, you have a keyboard cover, you want to be able to take your work with you in an iPad and not lug around a laptop, a MacBook, for example, then this is going to really change the amount of work you can accomplish.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Thousands are gathering in Virginia to watch the wild Chincoteague ponies make their annual swim across the Assateague Channel. It's the 100th anniversary of this popular tradition.
Look at that, kids. We had the best shot, Annie. Okay. Guys, this is absolutely amazing.
Foal number 36 was the champion of the short channel swim on Wednesday and crowned King Neptune, the title given each year to the first to complete the swim. Saltwater cowboys on horseback round up the ponies, who then swim the channel and come ashore on the east side of the Chincoteague Island. Now, the tradition began in 1925 as a way to raise money for the volunteer fire company there. Now, interest in the pony swim grew, especially after the 1947 children's book, Misty of Chincoteague by Margaret Henry. And visitors from across the country have been coming to see the ponies swim ever since. Finally, on Midday, do you believe in aliens? A metallic spacecraft glistens under ambient light as two figures with elongated limbs, bulbous heads, and featureless faces gaze with black eyes into the distance of the island of Java. Now, the extraterrestrial arrival in Indonesia is one of the science fiction scenes that have captivated groups of outer space enthusiasts at the country's UFO festival throughout July. Now, you have to check out the pictures of this festival. The detail is absolutely insane. Have you ever seen these?
No.
Have you seen this festival?
No. But it sounds interesting.
All right, you tell us about any other sort of UFO sightings on Jeff Caplan's Afternoon News, right?
Maybe.
Okay. Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Caplan. We're at 97 degrees, KSL's top story. Turns out the turbulence was as unbelievable as it was unexpected last night. 25 passengers injured on a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam. The plane made an emergency landing in Minneapolis, where one passenger from Utah tells us he's still feeling.
Deja Brown, they were about an hour and a half into the flight when they hit three big waves of turbulence.
We actually came out of our seats a little bit.